You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
Activate the symbol monkey.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out, about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waste. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waste.
Hello and welcome to the 426th edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks. Tonight, we have Ray. What's up, Ray?
Hello, hello.
And also Jess. What's going on, Jess?
Hey, Andrew. Greets, everybody.
And returning, we have our master of spreadsheets, fan favorite, Pip-Boy Steve. What's up, Pip-Boy Steve? How's it going?
Here, everybody. It's going really well. Thanks for having me back.
Thanks for coming back, sir. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. And we are the show who compares and contrasts Fallout experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing through the same quest with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. So welcome, everybody. Tonight on the show, we'll go through our gameplay off the top like usual, and also Clint has sent in a little feedback for anyone who's having trouble with the automatron interior zone, and also he ran into it as well in the Nuka car arena, that weird graphics glitch. I think Jess ran into it as well. So Clint has a little bit of a warning and a fix for anyone who's having that issue as well. We'll hear from Clint. We've got some quests for the roundtable that we'll get into tonight. We're heading over to Nuka Worlds, just sort of kicking that off with All Aboard, where we hop on the train, show up over there, taken for a ride where you go through that lovely maze of terror and torture called the Gauntlet, and also an ambitious plan where we just sort of go out and meet all the heads of our new friends, the operators, the disciples, and the pack. So we'll get a little bit of taste of the people we'll have to deal with, have fun with. I don't know. How do you guys see it? So we'll get through meeting the leaders there. Jess has some iguana bits for us, and that sounds like a pretty good show to me. So why not we go ahead and roll right into it. Steve, since you're the guest of honor this evening, why don't you start us off tonight? Did you get a chance to play any video games this week, sir?
I did. Well, I just played Fallout 4.
Attaboy. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah. So I had left off at my last feedback that I was debating between going to Nuka World versus doing the Institute and going there. Yeah. But I didn't go to the Institute. I didn't play every night this week, so I just made sure I booked it over to Nuka World and did the assigned quests for this week to make sure I was on track here.
All right, cool. So we'll definitely get into your adventures during the quest chat, but was there what sort of messes did you get into along the way?
I have been working on achievements, so
nice,
I needed to do I had been talking about needing to take charisma, but I didn't explain exactly why I needed to take charisma last time, and it's because you need to build I can't remember what the name of it is, but it pacifies creatures when you trap them, and so you can keep them in your settlements, and there's a
animal friend
achievement to
is
get
that what it's called?
Yeah, there's an achievement to get 5 of them at one time, 5 creatures.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And so I had never done that. So first, actually, I had never built all of the traps. So first, I built all of the traps, one of every cage type. Sorry, I should call them cages because there's like bear traps. I wouldn't want people to get confused. I'm not building it at the chemist workbench. Anyone ever used bear traps and caltrops? No.
No.
You do.
Really?
Yeah. Because you can scrap everything in Sanctuary and make a crap ton of caltrops without any perks.
Oh.
And use them for money.
I never even thought of that. That's brilliant. Also,
And-
Steve,
and-
it's a beta wave emitter you're thinking of, I think, right? The thing to
Thank
pacify the
you.
animals.
Yes, I was trying to go look it up on the side here. A beta wave emitter. Yeah, you need that. Really quick with what Ray was saying about the caltrops. I haven't done this, but you can also, once you make them all, because the weight is too heavy to carry them to like Diamond City all at once, you can drop them and it's like one caltrop, and then you can do the like pick it up and hover it in front of you, and then you can pretty much just go where
Yeah,
you're going. You have all
walk
of
it
them
along.
with you.
Yep.
Yeah. Without being encumbered when you're at like level what 2 or 3 or something, Ray. I guess you could
Yeah.
do this right away.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. And make a ton of caps. I saw that. Cheese. So yeah, so I needed the beta wave emitter, and to build the beta wave emitter, you have to have Wasteland Whisper, right? And also Wasteland Friend. Yeah. So I did that. I built one of every cage, and I laid it all out. I had it like, the 4 small in a row, and then the 5 or 6 mediums, and then all the big ones at one end. And I did it at Starlight Theater,
Oh,
so
my
I
good
had
location.
huge space, right? Yeah,
You're gonna have a zoo. Holy shit.
yeah. And so I had the beta wave emitter. Because even if it's more than one type, like different types, like so if you brought out a Mirelurk and a Deathclaw at the same time, even if there's a wave emitter, they'll fight each other. But if you had like 5 Mirelurks, you could have 5 Mirelurks in a beta wave emitter. I don't know, to get the thing, but I had all of the cages hooked up to one powered switch.
Oh no.
Mhm.
So I let them all go at once. So everything came out all at once, and it counted for the achievement. And but then they all started fighting each other, and so it was a crazy big old mess of all these creatures fighting
Even-
each other. And I started shooting and throwing grenades too while I was at it.
Oh my goodness.
Even though you had the beta wave emitter, which is supposedly its function is to pacify
Yeah, doesn't it? All of them?
hostile animals, they would still fight each other?
Yes.
Does that mean that it just prevents them from fighting you?
Well, when I had my my animal sanctuary and zoo on Spectacle Island, they generally got along. I mean, I had
Huh.
gorillas, and I had a number of creatures, like a bunch of different ones.
Okay.
Yeah, I had Yaoguai, I had gorillas, I
Oh.
had a couple of dogs. Like I had several. So I don't know.
That's
Hmm.
crazy.
Well, that I just read it, and when I let the cage go, even though I had 2 beta wave emitters just to make sure, it triggered the achievement, and I got
That's
it.
great.
But they all started fighting each other, and I've done this twice now. I did it again. I reset all of the cages, and then I let them all loose again by accident. I was going to
That's
do it
brilliant.
one by one, but I hit the wrong switch, and they
Oh,
all came out. I was like,
no.
oh well.
You know what? I'm looking it up, and yeah, it does say that they're pacified between, the settlement members, the sole survivor, and companions, but not necessarily towards other creatures to which it's traditionally hostile. So there might be some creatures. Maybe I had a combination that weren't hostile towards each other most of the time by default. And Spectacle Island is big, so it's not like the gorillas ran
Yeah.
into the dogs that often.
I would think gorillas and dogs might get along though.
Yeah, I
Could
remember
But
be
like
it.
something like a
Coco
death
and his
claw,
kitten.
a wild creature versus a more tamed creature, because like you can already have, you can have. Can you have gorillas without the beta wave emitter?
Oh, I don't know if you can or not. I don't know.
I don't
If
know.
you set
They
up
boost
Anyway.
happiness.
cage-
I didn't have any death claws, so that could be the difference.
Jen was saying you just need wild mute fruit in the cage last week, right? And you
All
can
right.
you can catch
Yeah.
them, but that won't mean that they're docile though. They'll come out hostile probably. And I've also heard that you can get the Institute one somehow. Is that right?
I mean, as Lee's mentioning in chat, aren't all gorillas in the Commonwealth synthetic gorillas? Probably.
No.
Actually, I thought to like cage a gorilla, well, without using mods, I think you have to do the institute, or do you have to make sure that they get free?
You have to
I don't
release
know
How
them
is
that
it?
you have
first.
to. Yeah, I
Maybe
don't know.
you cannot get them if you do the institute, but you can get them if you destroy the institute because at that point you'd
because
let
you
them go,
released them,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
There's something in there that doesn't free up the cage because I do not have a cage for
there
gorilla.
are the ghoul gorillas. There are the ghoul gorillas in in Safari Zone. We're gonna get
Gorillas.
to soon in Nuka
Gorillas.
World.
I forgot
Yeah.
about
So
them.
we're gonna see them. And then the basic gorillas. I mean, I don't know if they're all synths or not. I don't know if they actually get into that.
I'm fascinated with the gorillas now.
Did you
Hmm.
have to make a shopping list of all the stupid ingredients you had to collect in order to bait all the cages? Like, is that just that list alone? I mean, I have to find soft shell Mirelurk meat to bait my cat cages, which every time I find some soft shell Mirelurk meat, I throw it in the cage and get a new kitty out. But your shopping list just must be ridiculously long because you had like three different categories of cages plus five different types of cages in each category or whatever. Like, do you have 15
Yeah.
different grocery list items you're going out to look for?
And you know how at the beginning you like, I don't know, I hoard everything, right? I'm like getting food. I'm like, man, I'm gonna need this Yao Guai meat someday, right?
Yeah.
Well, and then along the way, you're like, oh man, I'm tired of scrolling through all this crap. I'm just gonna sell it all here at my place, right? And then comes that day where you need that Yao Guai meat, and
Like,
you're like,
fuck.
okay, where the hell are there Yao Guai in the game that I haven't killed yet?
Right.
Yeah, in survival
Yeah.
mode, things stay dead longer. They don't respawn as quickly.
Like I
It does
Googled
take
it
longer.
and there is a permanent there's a regular spawn in dead Yao Guai over by Coastal College. There's like three of them over there, and if you have the magazine, of course, you get
You
two
get
meat.
double
So that
double
there's
meat.
boom, 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 six.
Nice.
So that's cool. And only it says on Steam achievements. Okay, so for PC, on Steam, it says only 1.5% of players have made that achievement. So
Wow. What's
I've been playing it forever, and I haven't gotten it. So well, I got it now.
Congratulations.
what's the rarest achievement? The lowest percentage of completion in that
Yeah,
list.
pretty much those right now is what I'm seeing
The bears.
Yeah. I would
that I've
guess
completed.
that you've completed. I would guess the Nuka Cade tickets one probably.
Oh fuck
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
that's gonna be the
Realistically,
one.
I needed to look up the Xbox achievements to see because I don't have it on right now.
Now, Steve, how many of these would have you actually have already completed in the past, except for the fact that you had mods on, so that didn't count? Are there any that you're doing for the
Uh,
very first time?
just these trapping ones, like or the cage ones here. I
Yeah.
had never done Wasteland Workshop. I'd never built one of each one and
Uh-huh.
tamed creatures. So
Is there an achievement for like building the arena and have different kinds of raiders? Because isn't there a raider cage? Can't you trap people and make them fight in some
Mhm.
arena thing?
yeah,
I've never done that. Like that
I've
sounds.
done it
All
with
right.
gunners.
Oh Lord.
so yeah, with gunners. So I kind of played with this. I had some mixed results because it's supposed to be super easy to do. Um, but so I wanted to control it. I didn't want to just do it at some random settlement. So I sent four people over to Jamaica Plains because I have no one there. I have it set up so I can. It's a waylay station for a couple of caravans. Like they go to that spot, but I have nothing there, so it never gets attacked. Even though I don't even care if places get attacked anymore. I just ignore that.
Defend yourselves.
I'm gonna be attacking them myself here soon, hopefully. Um, and so I sent four people there, and I made this like little stadium in Jamaica Plains. And I put the two things there, but the settlers would never fight each other. And so I don't know. I sent him over to Starlight Arena and I did it there.
Uh-huh.
I tried doing it there. I tried building two more of those things and having like settlers fight and then that was when I screwed up and I let all the animals loose the second time by accident because I was gonna like let them out one by one, see if I could make them like assign them to the thing and make them fight or something. I was hoping.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that didn't work. I couldn't get it to go. Yes, I was using the quitting time thing. You have to build this quitting time thing and um, make it go on and off while they're fighting, I guess. Um, because that's how the achievement dinged for me was when I finally went up to 10 pines and I just set up a couple right there and assigned like my bartender and a guard. Oh no, it was the person who's on the artillery because I've been putting a couple pieces of artillery out, even though I never use it. Um, and made them fight, and then they fought to the death, and I couldn't get the achievement to go, so I assigned a farmer to it, and then they were fighting, and I turned the quitting time siren on and off, and it went. So that's what just made settlers fight each other.
So
And I lost
for a
one.
second there,
One
I was
died.
thinking, oh, they wouldn't fight each other because they wouldn't be hostile against each other. It's like, could you make two gunners fight or two settlers fight each other? You probably need a gunner and a settler versus. Yeah, but sounds like you got it to work anyhow.
I did. I don't understand why the achievement says have two people fight in a spectated fight. So there's got to be other people there watching, right?
Just
There
in a
have to be-
settlement. Yep.
In a settlement, yeah. But
Wow.
but it went the achievement triggered for me when I turned the siren on and off while they were fighting and people
Huh.
were there.
Maybe the siren is what's supposed to call them to assemble. I
Yeah.
don't know.
And
But
I watched a couple because I couldn't get it to work the way it describes it. And so I went and watched like two. Wow, I did some deep research. I watched two YouTube videos on how to complete the achievement, and that's what worked for me.
okay, do you want to hear some deep research real quick?
Yes.
We're talking
Yeah.
about achievements. Okay, you guys. So I went to trueachievements.com to order the achievements. The least one achievement on the regular game is Benevolent Leader. Maximum happiness in a large settlement.
Oh, right.
Oh,
That is the
100%
least
happiness.
one. And then in Automatron, it's build 10 robot mods, but that's like 75%. So that's not that bad.
Hmm.
Scrolling down, most of them are pretty good. Islander's Almanac is the least one in Far Harbor, people collecting all episodes of that magazine, all issues. And then the other least one is Nuka Cade tickets.
Yeah.
But Nuka Cade
Yeah.
tickets still more people have than Happiness and Settlement 100%.
So when it says a large settlement, does it just mean a location, or does a population have to meet a certain threshold, or what?
You need at least 6 settlers for it to count as a
6
large settlement. Yep.
settlers?
Oh, okay.
But I think that's all it is. I think it's at least 6 settlers.
Because I've heard, like, it's been a long time since I've looked into it, but I remember trying to look that achievement up, and there was some method where you could build a chair and you sit there and you build them video games and a cat and like all the different little things that they like. But that was
Plants.
you only needed one settler to do that. So there's actually needs 6 settlers to do it. Interesting.
I remember when we were talking about that back in the day, and I think this is the guide: 6 settlers, 7 beds, 5 tier 3 clinics, 6 mute fruit plants, 3 water pumps, and heavy machine gun turrets, a bell, and a chair. It tells you
remember the chair
how to
for
set
some
it up
reason.
with that and assign everybody.
Wow. To the person who sat and figured all that shit out, kudos to you. Good Lord.
I mean, the way I did it was just have a lot of clinics and bars, like, the restaurant bar
Bars,
thing.
that makes
Had
sense, yeah.
most of my settlers assigned to that stuff, and just waited a few days, and it happened.
It's like, just look through the build menu, anything with a smiley face next to it, build that.
And if you watch
People
the Oxhorn, he builds bars and gorillas.
Gorillas for happiness. There you go.
Gorillas?
Happiness and defense.
Yep.
Because gorillas a 10 defense. So that's better than 2 turrets.
Wow, 10 defense is good.
Yep.
Even your top level machine gun turret is 8, I think.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank goodness for mods. Because
Except
the
for the
mod I have,
eliminator.
it's I think it's from Eleonora's, just her quality of life mod pack.
Yeah.
And it makes the guard post worth 20 defense. Like,
Mhm.
yes, please, thank you.
Which
Yeah,
makes
she does
more
good work.
sense than 2 or 3, whatever it actually gives you.
I don't remember how I did it, but I did it in my first playthrough. I remember working at it at one of them.
Same.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I can't remember how I did it.
what are the big ones you still have left to accomplish, Steve?
I have wiped the board of all
No
achievements
way.
except for
The happiness.
Nuka World achievements.
Nuka-cade tickets, please.
I opened up this spreadsheet of his, and this spreadsheet is hot. You've even got like, color coding with the yes and the no's and the description bar. Wow.
Yeah, and links to the wiki for each of the achievements and stuff.
Oh my gosh, these are actually linked.
Yeah,
They
it's
are.
all linked. I didn't make this spreadsheet.
Okay.
I put the owner in the chat in Discord back in the history. You can find it if anybody wants to see who the link on Reddit, or just research achievement spreadsheet, and there's a Reddit link.
It is well set up. Yeah, I think I pinned it to our pins in the Discord live chat.
Yeah.
So you did the benevolent leader one. You've got
At some
checked
point.
them all, or yes, great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been doing this week. Besides going to Nuka World, was just working on those achievements. I had to hunt down a few last bobbleheads, and
Right. You said you're getting all 20 of those. Which ones were still
Yeah.
missing?
the very last one I did was the one at the top of Corvega,
Ah.
because I'm not doing power armor, so I never cared about going and getting it.
Yeah, was
So I
that
never went all the way up there and grabbed it
repair or
earlier in the
whatever,
game,
right?
because
Yeah.
it does something about fusion cores, right?
Yeah, repair makes fusion cores
Repair
last
all the way.
longer for some reason.
And I had to go. Oh, here's a little story. I went to go do Vault 81 because I had never gone in there, and you got to go do the Curie quest and go
Mhm.
do the mole rats and go save Austin.
Oh,
But,
right. I've
you
heard
know,
people
what
have
do
trouble
you do,
with that.
right?
Yeah,
I don't want to run around with a mole rat disease.
right.
I mean, it's not contagious. It's just you. Sacrifice a little for the greater good. And poor
But
Austin.
he needs those 10 hit points or whatever it is.
Yeah. So what I did was I went outside and I saved in one of the beds outside Vault 81. You just sleep for an hour.
Right.
And then I went back
Mhm.
in. I went down to the doctor. And then what you do is you tell the doctor, you say, yeah, give it to Austin. And he says, oh, you're going to give it to us? Thank you. You turn and walk away from him and then go into your Pip-Boy and drop it really quick. And then it still triggers and you have one in your inventory. So I did
Whoa.
that.
It's like a magic trick. Got to be quicker than that.
Ta-da!
It took me 3 times. I did it on the 3rd time. The first 2, I was like trying to get used to it. That's why I saved before, because I didn't want to. I didn't want to walk around with the notification of
I'm
having
just-
mole rat disease.
I'm looking at the list here. Home run. I assume that's the one in Diamond City where you run around the base paths.
Yeah.
But right underneath that is touchdown. What is touchdown? It says score a touchdown. It's like I remember in Tales from the Commonwealth there was the football playing Super Mutants where you used
Yes,
a mini
killed-
nuke.
Killed by a super mutant suicider is touchdown.
Oh,
Or
you
or
just
a
have
fat
to,
man.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay, you have to get killed by a. Okay, that's good. Good one. All right. Any favorite achievements, Steve, or the hardest one? Anything give you real trouble? Sounds like the arena fighting one. Was
the arena
travel.
fighting one. I left when I did Vault. What's the one where you can build in the vault? What's the DLC for the vault where you can build in the vault and you have the overseer down there and you do the
Yeah.
experiments
Vault 88?
on Clem?
Vault 88.
Vault 88. I left the overseer in charge of Vault 88. Right? Because it seemed like I was like, yeah, sure, you could stay here at the settlement down there and hang out with Clem.
Uh-huh.
You only get an achievement if you get rid of the overseer. So I had to go back and kill her
Oh no.
to get the achievement.
That's great. So the only ones you have left are the Nuka World ones.
Yep,
And
the
I was
Nuka World ones.
I was
and those
going
are
to
gonna
ask. Let's see. There's bobbleheads in and magazines in the Commonwealth. Over in
Ah.
Far Harbor, we have there's like 5 magazines or something. What do we have in Nuka World to collect besides the Star Cores? Are there magazines in Oh, Scav. I forgot about Scav.
Scav magazines, and there's a couple cool
Yep.
ones. Andrew, you'll like the one at Grantchester Mystery Mansion because it gives you +5 explosives damage.
Ooh, I will like that one.
Yeah.
Is
I
it
have to go over
really
there.
called Librarian? Oh my goodness.
Librarian. Oh, there it is.
Librarian
That's
is the achievement.
hilarious. Librarian to collect every issue of Scav magazine. That's great. Those guys just are wordsmiths, aren't they?
They are. They are. So, and then there's a really good one for knife and switchblade damage, combat knife and switchblade damage. They have some cool knives. Those disciples have good knives.
Yeah.
They seem to be bloodthirsty, those disciples.
Yeah. So yeah, Scav magazine. I went to go get that one at Grantchester Mansion.
Mm-hmm. You said you had
and
trouble?
Yeah, I know we're going to get to our talking about the quests. But I went to go do the Grantchester and I went to go get that magazine, but I don't have Master Unlock, so I couldn't get to it.
Oh
Then I
no.
left.
It's
Yeah.
behind a locked door or some such.
Yeah, so I got to go back there with the way
New
to unlock
goals,
it.
find a
Bring a
locksmith
robot.
reader or level up.
Yeah.
Get your robot. Ada, what you doing, honey? Come follow me. We'll go on a grand
Yeah.
tour.
I have no idea which magazines from the Commonwealth I have. I'm not bothering with those because I already have the achievement. So
Yeah.
Right.
I tried looking at figuring out which ones I had, but they're not numbered, so I don't know, and didn't want to have to look up each one individually. That seemed like a pain.
Just keep filling the shelves, and once you got, is it almost 3 full, I think, is all of them? Not sure.
And okay,
Yeah.
oh, here I see you have. These are all the ones that you don't have. And the 100,000 tickets at the Nuka-cade. I think I remember people saying in the past there's some basketball trick or something, right? With the
Yep.
Nuka tickets. So there's little cheats you can do here and there.
I think I was reading there might be one with like shooting with an explosives weapon at like whatever
At
the ducks
the-
are going by or
Oh.
something.
The ducks going
yeah.
by. Yeah, Will and Ray and I were talking about that a couple weeks ago, and I think he said he was doing exploding ducks and I was doing basketball.
Nice. See, there's one here. Defeat 40 Nuka World creatures while under the effect of any Nuka mix flavor. Nice.
Ugh. Yeah, so I have to make all the different Nuka
Create
flavors.
20 different flavors of Nuka Cola. Are there only 20 Are there more than 20 flavors?
I don't
No,
know.
I think that's all of the combinations.
Okay.
It's probably everyone, yeah.
Goodness sakes. Lots of tedious
Es-
shit to do here, man.
Establish 8 raider camps in the Commonwealth.
That's a rough one.
Oh. See, that is one of my main complaints. If I have a complaint about Nuka World, it's the turning on the heel for someone who plays Minutemen to go to Nuka World, and then all of a sudden you have to start working with these raiders who you've spent this whole big deal getting rid of raiders and cleansing them out and making sure they're not going to attack your settlements anymore. But all of a sudden you're just like, oh, now we need to make all these raiders get along and we need to solve this stuff, and then go back to the Commonwealth and then take over settlements that you've already settled for settlers. Like, come on.
But you really don't have to, right, Ray? You can just kill them
they
all.
give you the option to wipe them all out.
all
And
the
that's
raiders.
just as valid.
And then is there an established 8 raider camps in the Commonwealth possibility if you take that path, though?
No.
Yeah, see, if you want to get the achievements, you have to be a dick.
Right. Well, and that's why I never got them. That's why those are the only achievements I don't have, are like the last 4 in Nuka World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a scam.
Yeah, and I never play for achievements, so
Oh, right.
Well, you always got a
I
billion
haven't paid
mods
attention
going.
forever.
I'll kill you if it's gives me some kind of a buff or some game advantage, but otherwise, forget about it. I'm letting
Yeah.
you walk.
Yeah, so I've been basically crisscrossing the Commonwealth, running everywhere. I ended up putting most of my running gear back on. So I think I'm at plus 30 or plus 40 run speed right now. I can run forever.
Wow.
That's
I can
great.
run pretty much wherever I want without stopping to not run too.
So you've got good
So,
AP regen and the 10% run speed and all that. That's nice.
uh-huh.
I've never beaten 20%, and even that's pretty smooth.
And then there's the perk that lets you run faster. Goes at like 50% less AP. So
Mhm.
that's an agility there somewhere. Yeah. So with all that running, I love it. I remember putting on all the running perks in Fallout 76 as well. And just I know that when Starfield comes out, I'm gonna be like, where's the running perk? Where
Where's
is
the-
Yeah.
that?
I'm moving so slowly.
Land vehicles. Who
Totally.
needs land vehicles? Yeah.
That's great. Getting into any trouble on the outskirts of Nuka World there, Steve?
Taking my best not companion follower Travis with me.
Love Travis. Okay, I see that you posted that he might be the best companion here. What is this leading up to here? What sparked
Oh, just that
this?
he can't carry anything.
Why
He
does
doesn't
that?
increase your weight, but he's great. He never gets in the way. He always takes care of himself.
Mm-hmm.
He never gives me any trouble like in doorways and stuff. Um, I never got to worry about him. He always gets back up eventually by himself. And he's running around with a gamma gun right now. I don't know
Nice.
why he picked it up somewhere, and so it just kind of fits with me doing radiation build mostly anyways. And
Sometimes I
he's
drop stuff for him just to see if he'll pick it up. He never seems to pick up anything I want him to pick up. But every once in a while, like he hasn't done it yet in this playthrough, but every once in a while in past playthroughs, you like turn around and all of a sudden he's like wearing power armor. You're like, where'd you find that, buddy? Holy shit, Travis, good job. I think he's still got
Yeah.
like an automatic pipe rifle in my game. I'm like, will you please pick something else up, dude? Come on.
That would help. If he doesn't count against having a companion for the purpose of lone wanderer too, that kind of makes
Oh,
up for his
yeah.
carry weight, because you're getting more, like I get 100 more carry weight not having a companion. So
Yeah.
that would work.
My only complaint would be I think he affects my sneak. I think that it says detected when Travis sees you. If you're trying to sneak around, even if bad
He
guys don't
does.
see you, I think he
Yeah.
affects the sneak toggle back and forth.
Yeah.
And
And when you're with him and you're by like a settlement, your own settlement, and something attacks you and he just goes off. I don't know. I've had him set off my
turrets and stuff.
machine guns, turrets and stuff. Yeah. And then I have to leave because he just keeps fighting,
He'll sit on his butt for a while. You just got to take off.
Yeah. Go somewhere else. But
Now-
then again, I got Diamond City angry at me one time because the Triggerman came for me because of the Marchowski's drug quest that you go on.
Right, yeah.
So every third time I show up in Diamond City, the Triggermen try and kill me, and and when you have an explosive weapon, sometimes
Oh, splash damage.
yeah,
Just like
so
at
they
the
all
White Spring.
all the guards turned on me, and I had to run.
No.
No,
Also with my sneak, I think that maybe Billy and the BOS Squire who are with me sometimes affect my. Either it's Travis or everyone can click off.
so
my
the Squire
sneak.
stays with you for a while.
He's with me in Nuka World. He followed me all the way. Like he goes. Billy stays outside, but the Squire will go. He was with me in the Nuka car place. He
In the
goes.
gauntlet.
He did the gauntlet?
He goes into the gauntlet. He's right
Oh
there
my
with me
God.
the whole way. He's
Oh my
he's-
gosh.
What kind
Well,
of a monster are you taking a
And he's-
child with you into the gauntlet?
And he's always
Man.
saying stuff like, "I wish we could get rid of these abominations," and man, I'll get a gun next week, and it's like, yeah, buddy, we'll get you a gun soon. Don't worry.
when we
Stick
get to
with
your
me.
gameplay, Andrew, and we're talking about some of what you went through this week, the
Oh,
fact
Lord.
that you had a whole entourage with you never even occurred to me. That makes the whole thing even more ridiculous.
I wouldn't
Exactly.
have. I would not have been able to complete it without. Like Steve is singing the praises of Travis, and without Travis, I don't think I would have made it through as far as I did through the gauntlet and stuff. But all right, Steve, is there anything else you wanted to mention there?
Yeah. Because I was thinking about Travis and I thought about companions, I was like, oh,
Uh-huh.
I'm not running mods right now, but I'll go look at the Nexus and I'll go see what mods they have for companions for Fallout 4. Maybe something new came out or whatever. And I looked at the more recent few pages of the more recent ones, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that there's a person out there who's made a companion mod for the Dima's Blue Nightmare creatures, so you can have Dima's Blue Nightmare with you anywhere you want. And so there's one for the iBots, the red ones that fly around. I guess he made a companion mod for those, and one for the little bugs.
Aw.
Do the little bugs
So
give
you
you
have
some
the
sort of
little bug follow
benefit?
you
Do
around.
they attack or anything?
No,
I think
they
it's
probably
just-
just look cute.
It's just a simple companion mod, so
that's
it probably
great.
just uses like a dog meat framework or something to follow you around,
I love
Or
the
any of the
little floating
companion
ball,
framework.
the little floating ball thing. That's pretty great.
Yeah. So I just wanted
Shooting
to make sure
lasers.
if anybody wanted to, make sure that they were spending more time in Demon's Blue Nightmare, that they could go get that companion mod.
Steve, you might be one of the few who actually love Dima's Blue Nightmare. So I know. I think Bob
I don't
was
wanna do
saying
it every
he likes-
day.
Yeah, think Bob was saying he
I
likes it, too.
appreciate that perspective. You got to have some balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank
Puzzles.
you,
I
Steve.
also like hacking. So I do. Sometimes I
Yeah.
do. I like it once I have it built up and I have like big intelligence and I have all the perks, because then you can just like click on a couple and you pretty much have it. There's not a whole lot of thought at this point. But I never took lockpicking, so I can't get through that door.
Ouch. Yeah, you're going to have to get at least a
Put a
couple levels.
robot. Is there a robot workbench somewhere in Nuka World? They
I
didn't
don't
include
know.
that, did they?
I don't
I
think
would-
so.
No, I bet they didn't, because it was part of the Automatron DLC and it never
Yeah.
seemed like they made it cohesive to include the
That means there wouldn't be one in
the
Far
DLC
Harbor either.
content
Right.
cross.
So none in
Yeah.
Far Harbor either. Wow, crazy. I mean, you
Mhm.
can build one, I assume, but
Yep.
that's one of the problems with Nuka World is that you don't get a settlement until after you've beat the whole DLC. Like you don't have any place to dump stuff. You don't have anything. You don't have any place to call home until you
Well,
power up the place.
You've got the Overboss house at
Right.
Biztop Grill.
right. But you can't build there. There's no workbench or anything.
No,
right?
but you've got your workbenches there.
Are all five there?
No,
Yeah, between
no
inside and
robot
outside.
bench, but
No robot bench. Okay, but there's like storage areas and
yeah,
all
you've
that.
got a chest.
And a bed. And is there water supply up there? Is there a drinking fountain or anything?
No,
yeah,
there's
I
no
looked-
clean water fountain in Nuka World.
Nowhere in the whole damn place. Wait,
No.
there's a water pump at Evan's trailer. I found that. And I think that gives you purified water, those water pumps.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
nice.
Evan has one down at his trailer, but that's the only one that I found so far.
Yeah, and Lee mentions the Red Rocket that you can build at too outside of Nuka World.
Yeah, but you gotta beat the whole damn DLC
You gotta finish it
before
first.
before they let you have. Which you're like, okay, I'm just finished up with Nuka World now. Great, now I can have a home and place to build and all that. That's the main the first time we played it, and the most time I spent in Nuka World and building at that Red Rocket is when I was using the Sim settlements the first time and trying to figure out how that all works. I had my biggest Sim settlement establishment there at the Red Rocket in Nuka World. And that was years ago now. I could never really quite figure out what it wanted me to do. I know it's one of Ray's, but they've made 2 or 3 different versions of it by now. But I know that was one of Ray's favorite deals or mods. The Sim
Oh yeah,
Settlements
that
2.
new one, that Sim Settlements 2
Yeah.
Chapter
Yes.
3 looks insane.
Yeah.
That looks rad.
Rad. I get it.
It does. But we're not here to talk about that right now.
Radiation.
But it looks good. I really want to play it.
Well, don't load any mods, Steve. You'll shoot yourself in the foot and have to collect those 100,000 tickets
No.
some other way.
Oh my god. No.
Can you imagine messing that up right near the end? When you could obviously go back and load, but geez.
No. All right, sounds good. Thank you for your gameplay there, Steve. Let's go ahead and check in with Ray. Hey, Ray, did you get a chance to play any video games this week, sir?
I did. It was all kind of mundane play. I was in No Man's Sky. I was working on some ideas for some new play styles. The with the latest update, the game's got kind of out of control as far as being able to make just an absolute crap ton of money and have the best ships and the best guns and everything within just a few hours of starting a new playthrough.
Too easy to get max level now.
Yeah. So I've got I got something put together that I'll talk about on the next BBCISSS podcast. So see how that goes. And then we recorded an episode of a Skyrim Addict this week, so I'd been playing a lot of Skyrim leading up to that, with my arcade worshiper running around killing draugrs and vampires
Very nice.
to gain favor with my deity.
And have you gained favor?
I have very much
Have
so.
They blessed you with Daedric artifacts?
No, but some nice perks.
You snuck an
So-
episode of BBCISSS on me. I was looking for an episode this week, and you actually posted one on Tuesday that I didn't see. Nice. I'll have
Yeah,
to check
that
that
one
out.
was one that we had recorded a couple of weeks ago. So we
So-
go ahead.
That that's from that mod, the religious mod, right? It gives you the different deities to worship. Yeah.
Yep.
I did have that installed on when I played, and it whispered in my head, and I had to like assassinate somebody. It would give me a marker to go assassinate somebody who's nearby, but they were usually like over a hill or behind another building, and I had to go and assassinate them. When you're traveling around, you're looking for those things to kill to gain
Just favor.
approval from your
Yeah.
favor from your deity. Yeah, that's I was looking for a word there. Does it give you some sort of marker or signal of which
No.
targets?
I think the one you're talking about is Imperious Races. If you're a wood elf, or a dark elf, I think both of those have where it'll make a little sound. I think with a wood elf, it's a hawk scream, and then it highlights either a creature or a human that you have to kill. And if it's a dark elf, then it's a person.
Oh, cool.
But with Gods in Worship and Winter Sun, you know up front what makes them happy, and so you do and don't do those things. Like some of them will want you to not commit any crime, and some will want you to do nothing but commit crime. And so ahead of time what's going to make them happy. and it has little mechanics that you pray to them, and visit their shrines and stuff. So it's an interesting flavor to the game, and
So
it add perks to you.
I've listened to some of the Skyrimatic talking about this stuff, but do you have Winter Sun and Gods and Worship both loaded at the same time? Is that
No,
possible?
no, no.
No.
I
Okay.
have two mod profiles.
Okay.
So I run the same character essentially through, uh, both mods to evaluate the differences between them.
That's investment right there.
Totally.
Love it.
Yeah. And then Michael and Victor are running theirs, as well. So it's been fun. It's not a lot of structure. We've technically called it a round table, but it's it's just kind of the Wild West. But
Way to do it. It's fun that way. Yeah.
yeah, it's been a kick. So and then getting in some time in Rage 2 and Cyberpunk, but nothing particularly memorable.
You didn't add a fifth game to the mix.
No, it's it there's a lot of time spent anticipating Starfield.
Oh yes.
What are you doing by anticipating Starfield? You've already got your computer built.
Yeah. So went through and watched Firefly again.
Oh, good choice. Good choice.
Um, just little stuff like that. I'm trying to. I don't watch any of the videos about here are the factions, or this is the this is what we know. Can you believe they leaked this? I don't want to know any of that stuff, but
I think that's great. I love those vids, but I get why you don't. It's nice to not know too much and have it spoiled.
well, and I watched a few of them to begin with, and when the person doing the video doesn't recognize the fact that the first look that we got of it last year before the delay, and the stuff that we got on the preview,
Right?
showed some pretty significant changes
Yeah, definitely.
in a lot of the stuff in the game. And so if you don't acknowledge the fact that some of the original stuff that they showed is no longer in the game, then your information is useless.
So you're saying they're mixing information stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even little UI tweaks, like there were a lot of changes between the two. I mean, they're kind of complementary in that I liked the way that the one a year ago happened, where they did the whole land on that moon, land on the moon of Crete and walking through that's the kind of classic, like, here's actually like unfettered gameplay, but it was not. I mean, obviously it's evolved a lot since then, but there are people who are saying, oh, but we've never seen anyone play the game for any length of time. And I'm like, well, actually, we kind of did there. I mean, it was boring, very beginning of the game stuff, but, But
I was thinking about Starfield as I was playing through Nuka World because this is the same people that brought us the Disciples, the Pack, and the Operators.
Mhm.
And Bethesda is really good at making factions that you can't like any of them.
Mhm.
100%. You're not gonna agree with everything a faction does because they always have something that's off about them.
That's the Empire and the Stormcloaks right there.
Yeah. So I'm expecting
something horrible about
in
each of them.
Starfield is that there's never going to be a good option. It's always
Yeah,
going to be a difficult moral dilemma for the
I was
player.
going to say
which
Elder
way to go.
Scrolls is a little bit, has a little bit more cut and dry, good and bad factions, but you're right, not really.
No.
Yeah, it always
And
comes
it's
down
because
to
they all have
a
people.
moral dilemma.
What's that, Ray?
And they said it's because they're all based on people.
Oh, right.
And,
many shades of horribleness in
People
people.
are gray.
Yeah.
You know, no matter how white or black you want to be, you know, you're still mostly gray.
Absolutely.
You can try. Yeah, I realized after the fact when I talked through some of those the videos that they showed, the little kind of faction inspiration videos, and I'm like, I hope that wasn't too spoiler for people because I know some people are trying to avoid spoilers as much as possible, but I feel like they were just tone pieces, you know. And I feel like the tone is okay, but definitely want to avoid spoilers, especially once the game comes out.
Yeah, people screaming at you, spoilers! Come on!
I mean,
Right.
that's literally what we do for the podcast with roundtables
Yeah.
and stuff like that. You know, so obviously
Well,
talking
we don't-
Starfield, we will get there, but
We don't
you know,
launch a
gotta put it off a bit.
roundtable right when the game releases. You know, we always wait a little while at least and give
Mhm.
plenty of warning, like to the point where it's like, all right, guys, we get it. You spoiler. You know, it's like we give them plenty of warning every time we're gonna get into something like that.
Yeah, 20 days out.
20 days. You gotta experience it all. Come on. My big anticipation for Starfield is just sandwiches. That's all I'm pumped about sandwiches.
That's a common thread. People down with the sandwiches.
Sandwiches. And like you mentioned last week, Jess, the platypus ship and all that, the animal
Mhm.
ships, I thought that was really neat. I'm excited to build a ship and have a little spaceport of my own and that sort of thing. That sounds fun. All right. Ray, was there any other gameplay stuff you want to mention? Any weird stuff getting over to Nuka World or anything?
No,
that
it was all
go
pretty
pretty smooth?
straightforward.
Okay. Good deal. Did you use your trick, the avoid the gauntlet?
I did.
Okay, cool. Me too. We'll get into that here in a little bit.
Works well for everyone.
Yeah, great. Works great, Ray. Thanks for that. How about you, Jess? Did you get to play any video games this week?
Yeah, it was a good video game week. I'm going to start out with my non-Fallout real quick because it's kind of the Strays week. So I may have mentioned at some point in the last couple weeks that there was a game I was anticipating coming out called Stray Gods, which is a kind of a musical adventure role-playing
Oh.
musical game.
I saw you posting about this in the Dames thread, right?
Yeah, and I had tweeted about it once or twice. It's something I've been anticipating for at least a couple months. I only heard about it like around last Christmas. I didn't even know about it ahead by that much. So that came out, and the game Stray came out, the one about the cat, the cyberpunk cat
Yeah.
game. Yeah, that came out to Xbox finally. So both on the same day. So we got Stray and Stray Gods on August 10th yesterday. I bought them both. It's funny. I don't buy games that often these days with Game Pass, like only my big RPGs. And otherwise, it's, play Game Pass games mostly because a lot of things come there. And I only buy games I'm really interested. But both of those really piqued my interest. The platformer, it's very visually stunning. The cat is just awesome.
I'm
But Stray
intrigued.
Gods,
Yeah.
I'm about 2 hours in. And each playthrough is only maybe 4 hours. Like the first playthrough is going to be maybe 4 hours. And then if you do multiple playthroughs, they'll be quicker, the next times. But essentially, it's like if Telltale met Buffy the musical episode, or for those who haven't seen it, like pick your favorite TV show, very special musical episode. It's mashing those things together. So it's wonderful.
Crazy.
And you're essentially kind of changing the lyrics as you go and making decisions, which change the lyrics. And actual songs can change completely from what I'm hearing based on kind of the theme you choose. Like some of the choruses will change. And
Wow.
it's really cool. Some of the reviews I've read, and I agree with, even though I'm not done so far, is that the songs don't necessarily have as many hooks because of the fact that they are kind of changeable, mix and match, because of the way that the game's designed. But there are still some memorable hooks already. I've already got some stuff in my head, and I'm excited to actually get back to it after the show because I'm enjoying it.
That
but
sounds
that's the
intriguing.
Strays.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and funnily,
did you play? And so Stray, the cyberpunk one, that was good. You give it a thumbs up.
so I have watched people play through it because it came out on PC and PlayStation. I watched both my friend Charo and my friend Shreds put several hours into it, but I haven't played it
Okay.
myself. So I bought them both, but Stray Gods was the one I wanted to jump in more because it's brand new.
Right.
I really needed to check it out. Yeah, I mean, it just came out yesterday, so
Yeah, I'm intrigued by Stray. I think Mo will like it. We're a cat fan household here. Is Stray like a full game price for Xbox? Is it like a
Stray
$60
is
$60
currently
game,
it was
$70 game?
it's $24 for a couple days. The regular price is gonna be 29
Oh, okay,
on both of
great.
these.
Great.
Regular price is gonna be 29 on both of these. But Stray is on a temporary sale, which I don't know when it ends, if it ended yet, but I got it for 23 yesterday.
Wonderful. I might have to look into that. Very nice.
Well worth it. The only scary part is some of the platforming in the middle end is a little bit difficult. And I mean, your kitty can die like any platformer. You know what I mean? When stuff hits the kitty,
Don't
it's like
listen,
Mario.
Otter.
Do-do-do-do.
She's,
So,
she's just
you know.
kidding, Otter. Don't listen to her. She's just kidding.
Yeah. But he comes back. And of course, ultimately you beat the game and have a happy ending, hopefully. But yeah, so that's cool. Fallout gameplay. So last week I hadn't quite finished my squirrel badges and I was frustrated about trying to kill a Mirelurk Queen by myself and about getting a picture of a Blue Devil. Well, over the weekend I did both. Thank goodness. I
Nice.
got in, I think it was Sunday or Monday. I pushed it right to the limit. But I got in there and ultimately I did kill the Mirelurk Queen by myself. It only took 3 tries. I was juicing. I got, because I'd gotten further with the cold shoulder. And then I took my Med-X and, I got all like roided up, like with whatever chems. It wasn't just Med-X. I did like a small guns bobblehead. I did a couple things because I was ready. And I died twice, but third time was the charm. I took out the one in the cranberry bog on the south by the one farm. You get all the cranberries.
Nice.
So very happy about that. But I will say it's still fire damage and stuff like that. The robots that shoot fire at you, the poison from the Mirelurk Queen, it all is doing much more damage than it used to, just burning right through your defenses. It's almost like your fireproof isn't applying sometimes. Take off the card, put it back on a couple times, make sure that it actually engages. And that's happened before with cards. So I'm not sure that's what's happening. I've been told by someone, Duchess Flame, who I've mentioned before, who's really knowledgeable about stats, that they've changed the way it's calculated and it's just applying properly now. But man, if this is proper, some of these enemies are dangerous.
And you said they nerfed your shotguns not long ago too, right?
Against some creatures, yeah, they did again. Shotgun's been such a ride up and down. Shotgun has been, when one Wasteland came out, they nerfed him so hard, but I stuck with it. And then over the course of, a year and a half, they kind of got back to almost where they were, but no more magic shotguns. And now again, they're a bit down from what they were. It's frustrating.
Yeah,
but
that stinks.
The cold shoulder came out and they're like, oh, this is too good. This is too good. And then they changed it and it seemed to affect everything. Yeah.
Don't affect my shotgun. Just do cold shoulder then if you're so bent out of shape about it. Come on.
But they both work. So did that, and then getting the picture. It's funny. I still didn't find a Blue Devil. I just never had the Safe and Sound quest pop, and I didn't run into Blue Devil in the wild, even though I explored a bit. But ultimately, I went to the Spin the Wheel quest with the Cappy one at the tent at Nuka World, and with all the waves of different enemies there, ultimately taking a picture of groups of dead enemies counted. I think it was the Fog Crawler. For whatever reason, the Fog Crawler triggered it.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so that was good. So I got my squirrel stuff. Also, I'm on Scorecation.
Woo! Holy cow!
Scorecation!
Good job.
Thank
Jess.
you, Mo. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I bought the last couple levels. Once you get close, you're like 92, 93. I'm like, yeah, buy it again. So altogether, I might have paid for, I don't know, maybe 15 to 20 over the course of the board. Every once in a while I get a couple extra items. You're like, I'll buy a couple levels.
I don't even know if I looked.
Nice.
What was the big reward at the end of the scoreboard this season? I don't know if I remember.
Well, I
looking.
really love the shelter you get right near the end. That studio shelter is really nice with individual
movie
lights and stuff like
themes,
that.
Right.
But there are several rewards. But that one I really, really appealed to me. But I honestly haven't gone through and looked that much. I was just excited to be on Scorecation. and then I cleaned everything else up. So I'm feeling good. And it's double XP weekend, the surprise double XP. So if I get a chance to log on to 76, I'll probably grind out some levels just to celebrate.
There was something in the Atomic Shop you mentioned last week that I wanted to be sure to go get before it disappeared, but I forget what it was, and I didn't go onto the Atomic Shop yet to look and see what it was.
Might still be there. I'm taking a look at what we had again. the butterfly sanctuary, maybe we're
Yes,
talking
that's
about.
it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that or the secret door. The secret door with all the TVs is awesome, and the butterfly sanctuary is also awesome. This week, the prefab. I know I'm jumping into the bits ahead, but why not? We got a UFO prefab. Have you guys seen this thing?
No, is it like the playground one?
No,
Yeah,
that's what I
but
was thinking. The
way
playground one.
larger. So it's got that kind of vibe, right? It's your classic like 50s sci-fi UFO, but it's up on a pedestal. So you got like a spiral staircase,
No
like a two-story
way.
spiral staircase going up into it that looks like a beam coming down. And then there's a big UFO, and it's oh gosh, it's probably 3 times the size of the playground one, if not more, that you can build in.
That's
And
great.
it's got a cool support. And I think they've just seen people all over the wasteland building UFOs, and you're like, okay, fine, you want UFOs? Here's one.
Saw an awesome ad the other day that the Fallout had posted. That was really
Super
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw that flip by on X.
X.
It's still Twitter. Although I'm so mad at myself. I'm almost getting used to the X now. I no longer have to like hold my nose while I click it. I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
It's like
You could still hold your nose all you
I
want.
look at the icon and I'm like, oh, it turns me out. Like I've so often
Yeah.
I've been like, all right, time to check. No, not gonna.
It's like it really is. It's like
It's
Ben's
a-
Warehouse. It's like a tuxedo rental company
It's
icon.
terrible, right?
The place has always been a hive of scum and villainy.
Absolutely.
What was it before?
No, it always was. Yes.
It was a nest of scutability before, I suppose. But yeah,
Now it was a nest. Now it's a hive. That's the difference.
But you do see some nice stuff like that at
Yeah.
camp that you
Yes.
saw. I saw. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I
you know,
call-
you can still curate your Twitter experience and make it good, but it's getting harder and harder to do that in some cases.
Yeah.
I showed Mo. I called it an and he corrected me. He's like, "No, Dad, that's called an AT-AT." It's like, oh,
Yeah, correcting you on that Star Wars knowledge.
his Star Wars nerdery is now surpassing mine.
The only
Hey.
people who know more about Star Wars than like the true nerds are kids.
Yeah,
They just know it.
and
Hey,
sorry,
Jess, can
yeah.
I ask you a question? I'm sorry to cycle back, but I was going to ask you about the squirrel badges, right? Because you start out at tadpole, then you do possum, and then it's squirrel, right? So it's like a
Yes.
higher
Mhm.
level. Are there new outfits in the vending machines? Can you put on a squirrel outfit? Because there's
Oh.
like a tadpole and a possum outfit, right? And
You get the rewards for it. So there is a new squirrel outfit. It's like a cute blue kind of squirrel outfit. It's different color.
Really?
And yeah, it's got a different style. So you got that, and then the new backpack you get and the
Got a
flare. But
blue
I don't
color.
think there's
like
anything
the
more
Cub
in the
Scouts.
machines that I know of.
I know about the flare, but is there a different backpack skin you just said too?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
squirrel backpack skin. Yep.
Neat.
Okay, cool. And you get those out of the vending machines?
You got the squirrel backpack skin from the shop as part of the challenge, so you could just get that.
Okay.
Nice.
Part of doing it in the first place. I assume it's still available for people. I don't know that there are more plans in there besides the new
And
uniform.
a new flag to build when you're build so many things in your camp challenge. You just build the tadpole flags really quick.
Flags are good ones.
So now you have a squirrel flag to build.
There is
I
a
can't
cool.
wait for the skunk badges.
The stink lines coming up.
Where are they going to go from here? I think all we know about, as far as what they've talked about ahead with Pioneer Scouts, were just those 3 levels: tadpole, possum, and squirrel. But who knows? Maybe there is another one.
My
There
platypus.
should be wolf or
badge.
hawk or something.
Yeah, hawk badge. What else you got in gameplay there, Jess?
So that was pretty much my 76, was just all that cleaning up.
Okay.
Oh, the only other thing I don't think I mentioned last week, the free Fallout First item is this cool spotlight searchlight thing, like the bat signal. Maybe I did mention it,
Oh,
but it's
yeah.
great. It's going to be there all month if you're Fallout First, and it's free, so grab it.
How do I put my different animal symbols on it to make it project?
So it doesn't cast shadows.
Damn it.
People have been tricked. The Todd rays from this thing are so strong that they don't actually cast light. Like so many other things you can make shadows, but this doesn't. It's just like a solid, like Todd ray looking beam. It's cool, but it's fake. So,
Fake. I can't
but-
summon Squirrel Man to come save me.
but I think like if you put it down and you put up the water park sign backwards backwards. It looks like a moon. And you could like put something on the water park sign. It might look cool. I don't know. I haven't done it yet, but that's it for 76. And then Fallout 4, of course, I did play our quest this week. I'll get into that. But before doing that, I had a goal I mentioned to get my romance with Curie started, get things underway, get her that body she, has been asking for and make a little bit of progress. So I did go back to the mainland after, well, I already was because we did Automatron, right? But I went around and did the main quest. I kept Ada with me and went in and finally did Fort Hagen and took out Kellogg. And man, is that easy when you're level 80 something.
Yeah, isn't it?
I took him out almost as fast as you did. Just like Deliverer and me, like 5 bullets, and he was down.
Yeah, good stuff.
It was beautiful, and his companions as well. So took care of that. Got the goods. Went back, talked to Nick and Piper. Went to Good Neighbor in the Memory Den and did the whole Kellogg's Memory Quest thing. And finally, got a little ways in. That was great. So we did all that, and then I went and got Curie and brought her over and. Dr. Amari was perfectly happy to talk about new bodies for Curie then.
Great. Finally,
so for
right?
whatever reason, she wouldn't when she was upstairs, but when she was downstairs, she was willing to talk.
Did you ever manage to get Curie back over there to talk with Amari before you did the Kellogg Quest? To see if having her there would make a difference?
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I actually had her with me at the time when I sent you that vid. I had her with me for that attempt.
Okay.
She was right there with me. So but that went well. She has a body now with I talked to Glory and all that. And so did some questing with her. I did some railroad stuff with her. Finishing up the Randolph quest line and a few others. So that was good. We're getting along. We've got our first couple chats now, but we're not romantic yet. But then here's the thing. I had to go to Nuka World for the quest. I don't want to bring Carrie to Nuka World. I want to bring anyone to Nuka World. I don't want them to see what I'm going to be up to there, cavorting with raiders, dancing with the pack. That's not, this is not good. I'm going to do some not good things. I've been assigned the operators. So I decided to go companionless for that. So I have Dogmeat with me, but he doesn't judge. He's okay.
Who's the most raider appropriate companion that we have? I would probably say Kate, just because she was in that environment of the raider sort of like fighting pit there. Oh, Strong, there you go.
Yeah, Kate, Strong, McCready, Hancock,
right? Hancock would be,
because he's a bit, he likes his laws.
He likes it when you do drugs and stuff like that, right? Yeah.
Right, like he doesn't have many rules, just respect the mayor. But yeah, so they probably would, but I don't have either Hancock or Kate. I haven't been adventuring with them. So yeah, I decided to go with just Dogmeat. But what was pretty awesome was when I dismissed Curie and not breaking anyone else with me, suddenly, bam, my carry weight was back up. And I'm like, oh yeah,
400 carry weight.
I put all those points in Lone Wanderer. I was loving it. And suddenly I go from like 215 to 315. And this is amazing. So much carry weight. And I put a few points in Strong back too. So anyway, I will get to those questions a little bit, but a couple of things that happened along the way. So I posted on our Facebook group and I talked about the melee glitch where my bloodletter was extra powerful. Like I was getting 3,000 damage with my bloodletter and it was amazing. Lord. Well, I got another melee weapon or two that had the same thing. I got a cool shish kebab with the cryo effect. What? It was a cryo shish kebab.
What?
Yeah. How cool is that, right? As a legendary,
it would negate itself.
Well, I didn't put on the flaming mod, but yeah. So, and it was awesome. It's like, oh gosh, it was like 1,100 damage. So not as much. But I'm like, you know what? This is OP. I'm going to keep this. So I sold my bloodletter. I kept the shish kebab, also 3 pounds versus like 8.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is awesome. Well, I went to a workbench to mod it. And apparently something I did got rid of whatever the glitch was because suddenly, bam, only 35 damage. Checking other melee weapons back to normal. I'm like, no.
What?
My God.
What was happening there? That's amazing.
Somehow the multiplier for melee or strength bonus, like something I had was having some kind of like weird off the chart multiplier.
So it was applied to all of your melee weapons were compounded like that, and once then you sold the one, and by modding the shish kebab, you undid whatever glitch was originally
At some point
infected.
between when I picked up the shish kebab, when I went back to mod it, I did something. So,
Whoa.
I mean, I changed apparel once or twice, and maybe I just had a glitched my uniform or something. I really don't know what was causing it, but yeah. And over the course of when I picked that up to about like half an hour later, I went to mod it down to 35. So I don't know what caused it, but it's gone.
Wow, 35 is a lot lower than 1,000.
Isn't it though? Yeah. I'm sad. It was my get out of jail free card for when I got in big trouble, but that's fine. Also, when I conjured the Pridwin, so you go out after that quest, of course, when you leave Fort Hagen, and the Pridwin shows up, and that whole scene, it's like an iconic scene. We all love it. Well,
Great
I went
reveal.
and using my weather mod, I tried changing the weather because usually it's a clear night, and I've made a rad storm, which was awesome. Looked really cool.
Oh, did you take pictures?
Yes, I got a couple,
Nice.
but unfortunately, here's what happened. I was trying to record the whole thing, and apparently I had it set to only record 4 minutes instead of to my external drive, so I didn't get all the footage I thought I got, which was sad. But I tried jetpacking up onto it. I'm like, can I land on the Pridwin?
No way.
And I might have done this before. I might have done this a couple of years ago. I don't remember because I tried to experiment. But yeah, it's not solid. You cannot jetpack onto the Pridwin. I
She
landed
went
right on the
through it.
poop deck. I landed on the roof. I landed on, the area where the vertebrates sit. Nope, I fell right through it. So apparently, maybe there's a spot that is, but the whole thing as a whole, when it's flying through the sky there, wasn't solid for me.
That's
Great
awesome.
effort.
You tried, though. Yeah, that's awesome.
Tried, had to find out. I had to know. I'm like, wouldn't this be cool? You could just like land on it and then just pop a ride all the way across Boston. Like, how cool of footage would that have been?
They'd be like, what are you doing here? Who are you? Get off our poop deck.
Well, it's funny because the vertebrates afterward, like they landed immediately. Like immediately after they show up, you start meeting patrols. So, I found some down the road, and then at the water treatment plant, there was a vertebrate landing and fighting supermutants there. Like, they were all over. I'm like, wow, that did not take long at all.
They spread like a virus, those BOS guys.
They really are. Then you get back to like Good Neighbor, and there are already people talking about him in Diamond City. Like, they really make a real impression. I mean, it is pretty impressive.
They're all over the place immediately. Wow.
And then my only other thought for the week is, where has the time gone in this playthrough? We are over 3 months in. We're in our 4th month now. May,
Lord.
June, July. We've been playing Fallout 4 again. And it's funny, where has the time gone? Like, we were making such headway at first, but after almost 2 months in Far Harbor, it feels like it slowed down a bit, right? But we did keep going back to the mainland. We did, and do other quests there. But I'm looking at what I've done.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, there's still so much more to do. Like, so I want to do more Commonwealth cleanup. So I'm going to try to go back and forth through Nuka World and get stuff done.
It'd be nice if you could go back and forth from Nuka World to the Commonwealth, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
you
people
guys?
enjoy being able to fast travel, and and if you at least get to the point, if you get to the actual fast travel location that's on your map, you should be able to do it, right, Andrew?
Yeah.
Tell us about your gameplay.
So it's very, very easy and very convenient to just travel back and forth whenever you want to, except for the fact that they trap you in fucking Nuka World until you leave the gauntlet. And I did not know this. And I went.
Well, Andrew, who in the world goes to Nuka World and doesn't go right through the gauntlet to be able to get out the other side?
Well, longtime listeners of the show would know that. Oh, that's me. This guy over here. I'm the guy. That's me who does that. People who
I gave you the key to a door, and you just had to go through it.
I always have to go through, and my predilection to just circumventing the whole center of an area. And I always have to trace the outline for some reason. That's always been one of my things that I do. I like open up a map by going around the edge, and then I work my way in to the interior of the map. So, I got to Nuka World, and I was like, okay, Ray's got this really slick trick, right? Where you sneak out of the gauntlet and you can skip most of the gauntlet, and that sounded great to me. So I got prepared. Don't act like I didn't come to Nuka World prepared. I went to my
ammo.
I went to 3 or 4 different vendors and purchased all of their rounds. I had over 400 rounds of my 10 millimeter, and just going around the outskirts of Nuka World. I got to Nuka World, rode the train over, going down the stairs there, and instead of going into the gauntlet, I take Ray's door off to the left. You can see through on the right side of the door, there's a little tiny sliver of a crack, and you can see the chains. You undo the chains and you walk out, and you have free access to the whole park area. So I went out and I just had a jolly good time just exploring the outer rim of Nuka World, the outside of the park, outside of the walls, and just really had a grand old time. By the time I got about 3/4 of the way around, I realized, my 400 rounds of 10 millimeter is down to about 20 or 30. Oh shit! What am I doing here? Okay,
and you were cucumbered.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I had like 500 pounds of junk on me, because there's like, if you've never been to a shovel museum, you guys, there are so many shovels to collect at the shovel museum, and
you got to get a handle on your shovel problem.
You got to get a handle. That's great, Jess. Good one. That makes up for the crickets from last week. Oh, by the way, our trucker contingency, please, if anyone out there got a good chuckle out of Jess's trucker joke last week, please by all means write into the show. I just want to know who really got her air cab joke right off the bat there. So anyway, if you haven't been to the Shovel Museum, please do make a point of going up. It's along the right side of Nuka World. It is one of my favorite locations. I'd totally forgotten about it, and I just spent way too much time in there exploring the Shovel Museum, reading all the plaques. The plaques are so golden. They're just like the best commentary, and just sort of like I don't know, the stories about this shovel, this and that and the other. Please go check out the Shovel Museum. It is just a joy. I had a really good time looking around in there. Anyway, if you go around the outskirts of the park, you find such fun things as like super high-level death claws, a behemoth, a super mutant behemoth, a legendary Mirelurk queen plus 10,000 fucking Mirelurks at a pond up on the north side. You find all sorts of just crazy bears all over the goddamn place. And then you go to the power plant, and you go up into the power plant and find a lot of ghouls that need to get taken care of. And then you walk out and you realize, oh shit, I've got 20 rounds left. All right, let's get back to the Commonwealth. Let's go restock all of our bullets. Let's go ahead and sleep a little bit, get rid of all of our diseases, and do it. We'll just go back to Sunshine Tidings and sort of reset before we go through the gauntlet. All right, where's the fast travel point here?
Right.
Okay, where is
it?
Where's the wait a second.
Right near the beginning, right?
Ray, where's my fast travel point? Ray, fuck. Where is it? And then I post a picture. It's like, guys, isn't there supposed to be some sort of icon here below the Nuka station? Here?
Just lower right hand
lower right hand corner. It's
Yeah,
just right there, right? No.
Yep.
Fuck me. God damn it. So I'm like 500 pounds of junk, no ammunition, and I'm stuck. I'm literally stuck in Nuka World. I can't get back to buy more ammunition.
It was so bad it's got him locked up.
It locked me down.
Totally.
So
we've lost Andrew briefly. He'll be back.
Oh no, I'm back.
We won't be
here.
on the recording though if we lost him.
No, I hear you fine on the pod. Am I still freezing up?
You're a little digital, but you're coming back.
Oh no, that stinks. Sorry about any glitch. The podcast didn't catch it at all. It sounds fine there. But so I was out of ammunition, over encumbered like crazy. So I finally just got back to the Nuka station where the train is, and I dumped all of my junk into a cigarette machine. And I was like, okay, now let's figure out some little research online. It says, oh yeah, you got to do the the gauntlet before it'll pop up, and Ray confirmed that. He went through the gauntlet, and then he said, yeah, it pops up as soon as you're done with the gauntlet. I'm like, fuck, I gotta go through the gauntlet now without any ammo. How the fuck am I gonna do this? And Travis to the rescue. He actually helped me a ton getting through there. But I found out after you get out of as soon as you walk through the front gates, I don't know why I was fretting so much and why I didn't just go inside the park. You have immediate access to the vendor inside the park. There, you walk into the park and just off to the left, there's like the merchant area with all the slaves and stuff.
Yeah, didn't you go
The
in and
marketplace.
try that? You didn't
marketplace.
actually go in and try that?
No, I didn't even look there. I was trying to go home this whole time, and he had like 150 rounds of 10mm on him. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Oh gosh, I think we
Probably
thought you
would have
tried
bought a
that.
bunch of his stuff too.
Oh, good Lord. And nothing is marked steal in front of him, so I just picked up everything off his desk and sold it to him. Like, it was hilarious.
I also want
God
to mention, make sure the listeners understand how loath this man was to put down any piece of his shovel collection.
No.
He was like, no, I am
I will
not
not
dropping
drop-
this. I'm like, can you get uncucumbered? He's like, no.
I don't
am
think you
none of it."
understand. This shovel could have been used by Abraham Lincoln's cousin. Possibly.
It's important.
I don't think you know the importance of these shovels. Anyway, so after I discovered, this guy has plenty of ammo and you could have gone to him immediately, I was kicking myself for, this was a 3-day process that I was preparing myself to get back to Nuka World, to go home to Sunshine Tidings, dump stuff, and I didn't need to do any of it. I didn't need to fret at all, but I was fucking freaking out for like 2 or 3 days. It was terrible. Anyway.
So if you bypass the gauntlet like that, what happens like with Coulter and
Yeah, they don't acknowledge you. You have,
yeah,
you
they
have
don't
to do
acknowledge
that.
you. Do you ever complete the quests? I mean,
Yeah, you go.
does it-
They force you back into the very end of the gauntlet. If you go into the park, and
you go into the park and then you can go into where the cars are and
there's
in there and meet 'em.
Ray told me that you go off to the right side, you keep hugging that right wall. You see a hedge, and then you end up, there's a little staircase, and you get up to where the raiders can shoot down at you through the fencing. There's like fencing above you. You find that place, and there's like a little garage where the flying ants are. You know where the flying ants are? And there's like a shed where you pop up.
Yeah, the attic area. Yeah.
Yeah, you pop up there. There's a chained door on the outside where you can pop in, and that's where you go back into the gauntlet. And it's basically just a stone's throw before you're into the Nuka car place. So it's just really the tail end of the gauntlet there, and then you go in and finish up the gauntlet. But anyway, it was just a whole fucking production for me to get into the and it didn't have to be. That's the whole big joke. Like, I could have just really just dumped my stuff in the cigarette machine and gone and talked to that guy.
Yeah, I mean, you still did have to walk around a quarter of the map completely cucumbered, and then get back, dump stuff, figure it out.
But instead of a 3-day process, it could have been a 20-minute process. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't check with that vendor first of all. Probably because I didn't realize that you could get access to them without finishing the stuff first. But anyway, had a good time there. I think that's pretty much. I've only been playing Fallout 4. Haven't really done much Fallout 76. I did a little bit more with my survival mode. Fallout Shelter. I was going to ask Steve. I know Steve is also an enthusiast for Fallout Shelter. Have you ever done survival mode on Shelter?
I have not.
Okay. So I seem to be the only one who's tried this. I know Eric in chat I was like, man, survival shelter is hard, and he was like, I will believe you on that. Like, no, not gonna try. So that's totally gonna be our next roundtable, is a shelter survival mode. It's gotta be
Sweet.
Gotta be.
I'm there.
Still holding out for American or English Fallout Shelter Online.
Yes, that would be amazing. I would love that so much. Yeah. So that concludes
It looks
my
cool.
gameplay.
What I
Yeah.
understand of looking at it. Never watched videos though.
You understand any Japanese? or whatever language it's in. I don't know.
I do not.
No, me neither.
Or Korean?
Yeah, I don't know what.
No, I'm afraid I did not.
That concludes my gameplay, but Clint, like I mentioned earlier, has a little bit of a warning for us. Anybody who comes across the glitch, the interior of the automatron there at the end, the mechanist layer, and he also experienced it in the Nuka car part. Jess, are you still having the same glitching issue? Did you get it through the Nuka car part?
I did not know the cola cars were fine.
Cola cars.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Clint just has a word of advice for us here before we move on to our quest for the night.
G'day, everyone. I missed out on doing Automatron because of a serious glitch that wouldn't let me see where I was going in the Mechanist lair. Most of the walls were whited out and only the floor was solid, so that made it impossible. So the next thing is Nuka World, and it turned out, while I did a run-through with a high-level character, the same problem reared its ugly head in the Cola Cars arena. And also there was another problem there. It was what looks like the large Nuka-Cola bottles in the arena are heaps of times their size and fill the arena, making it impossible to see. So time to look at my mods. I guess this advice is for PC users. Console users might get some ideas for fixes too, though. So I'm running about 200 mods, mostly cosmetic, but a few to make life easier, and most of them are from the Such Fallout 4 collection. I spent several hours disabling them one by one, starting the game from a save in the arena. No change, jump out, re-enable that, disable the next, rinse and repeat. I finally found two culprits. The missing walls whiteout glitch is caused by a mod called Pre-Visibine's Repair Pack. Now, apparently it was made to help increase frame rates in the game and let it run a bit smoother. And it works well mostly, but it seems like it fails in a few enclosed places. Medford Hospital was the first place I noticed it, then General Atomics and the Mechanist Lair from Automatron, and now in the Nuka World. So my advice is to disable this mod if you have it before heading over there. Secondly, the huge bottle filling the arena was caused by the Scrap Everything mod. I don't know how that worked, but switching it off brought everything back to normal. Now, your experiences may differ, of course, but it might save you a lot of time searching for the right mod to move. Oh, and one more thing. Nuka World's Taken for a Ride quest has a background setting to run only once. So resetting and trying it again using console commands just breaks it. And you have to start again somehow. So have fun, and Peterson will be back with her adventures next week. Cheers.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Clint. Everyone take note of Clint's advice there if you're having any graphical issues on your interior cells there. Yes, Steve.
I will throw in my own experience using fog and dust remover mods.
Oh, yes.
Have really screwed up a few of those interior cells for me. In the past, I used to always have a problem specifically with where the disciples are. So there's a possible another point that people may have difficulty, and my issue is always with a fog or dust removal mod. It just, removes some of that. So removes walls too.
Yeah, that's why I suspected enhanced lighting and effects, the ELFX mod on Xbox, because it has some issues on Xbox it doesn't on PC, and it affects interior. So I suspected that. But Clint's research, when he discovered it was from like the Scrap That Settlement mod or Scrap Everything, that's good, because there is in that, if you go to the actual commands of it, it has a command module that you can open up the interactive. You can change the dimensions of any object. So it's probably an interaction between some of his other mods and that one that was essentially scaling the bottles up. And as you know, especially from playing 76, where we played with it a lot, when you get behind something you're not supposed to be behind and you're looking through it, it gets rid of all the walls and a lot of what you see. And so he was essentially inside the Nuka-Cola bottle, the super scaled up ones, looking through and couldn't see anything. I mean, that makes sense. But why did it happen? Like the combination, who knows?
Well, Peterson was just employed for his summer job, her summer job as the bottle mascot, right? She's just walking around inside the bottle for the summer, being the big plushy mascot.
That's definitely it.
Good job. Good job. I enjoyed that. So thank you, Clint. All right, guys, let's get into our quest for tonight. We will cover all aboard, getting on the train and heading over, taking for a ride, getting through the gauntlet, and an ambitious plan where we go and meet up all the different raider sections there. So let's go ahead and roll through all aboard. Jess, how did your quest adventure go there, just getting over to Nuka World?
I'm pretty good. So it was kind of a two-part quest for me. The first time when you first arrive there, you're creeping up, and there's a bunch of gunners hanging out in the middle. And as you get close, you hear them talking, and they talk about how they got to get this place scoped out and report back to General Cypress or Commander Cypress as fast as they can. And there's a bunch of gunners and a Sultron. Well, first time I went in there and took care of them, after I killed everybody, my game locked up for some reason. So I had to go all the way back, and I was in Sanctuary. I had to go all the way back and get back to Nuka World. But second time was perfectly fine. And again, I'm doing it without a companion, just dog meat. We took them out without too much trouble. Gunners, I don't know. There's probably what do you guys say? Like 8 to 10 of them there, maybe in the squad.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're kind of spread out throughout a couple different buildings,
Rooftops,
and different
Exactly.
elevations.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a couple on top of the 2 parking garages on either side with that little bridge in between, which I like that setup, by the way. It's kind of cool. And then there's the bunch in the middle. They're having the meeting. So one of them, the commander there, I'm forgetting what her name is, like Crayson or something. But she has a note. So after you kill her and you read the note about why they were there, they talk about how there was another recon squad sent a little while ago that never reported back. And then this new radio station came on, the one that we all heard, the Nuka World Family Radio, which is what we had to listen to find the location in the first place, talking about coming to Nuka World and attracting people in. So they're there to investigate it. They're going to secure the transit center where you're at and then go in. But of course, we don't know what happened to the first crew. And the second crew, of course, we took them out before they could secure the transit center. So that's pretty much it when you first arrive there. Do you guys have anything else that you found when you were exploring that beginning part?
No, not really.
Closest bed is at Sunshine Tidings.
Oh, is it? That's no good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be, right? The closest location is Lonely Chapel, I think, but there's no bed there.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't that connect
That
to
was
the
pretty
reserve
good.
or whatever?
Yeah, the federal ration site.
Ration site, right.
I started my Nuka World ticket collection there in the trash cans. You can start diving into the trash cans and finding tickets and Nuka World souvenir sloths.
Only 99,999 to go.
That's right.
Yeah, there didn't seem to be a whole lot to find at the location. A couple of notes, a body or two, if you explore around the parking garages and such, but not a whole lot.
Yeah. There's a chest in the top one of the buildings.
Yeah, right. Down in that little kind of like culvert area where it's slightly collapsed.
Yep, bonus loot.
Pretty good. But of course, in survival mode, you can't carry much of it. I'm so cognizant of that. I'm like, I just looted a couple of guns and I'm looking at the armor. I'm like, I'm already almost at max. So I already, making choices to drop things before the gauntlet. So after you do that, you go into the actual transit station, which is kind of on the back left as you go in and down. And as you go down, you see a quest marker on somebody. I'm like, oh, is this another gunner who already made it in and is injured? No, it's a guy named Harvey. And when you get in there, Harvey has a story for you. Harvey is letting you know that his wife and daughter, they were all attacked and laid on by raiders. They just, they were following the radio signal, but it was a trick. And his wife and daughter are in danger and he wants to rescue them. And, there's all kinds of things you can do here. So if you talk to him a bit, you can offer him a stim pack, and he refuses. He's very self-sacrificing. He refuses the stim pack when you first offer. But if you insist again and pass a speech check, he's like, "Oh, you got me," and admits that he's only there to fool you, and he's been being forced by the raiders to lure you in.
Oh, bum, bum, bum.
Yep. Yep, it's all a trap. Just kind of go in there all witless to rescue these people. But of course, at that point, you still have a choice. If you want to proceed, you can say, "Hey, I'll take care of these raiders for you. Don't worry," and you can still do it. And of course, so at this point, he's okay. He stands up. He goes and over to the bench and kind of sits, has a drink, and all that. And I'm like, okay. So then next thing you have to do is, you get a tape from him, right? Do you get it from him? The password to get into the terminal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And does that happen? Did any of you guys not do the speech check with him?
Yeah, I just left him on the floor. I didn't kill him
I did.
like I usually do.
Wait, okay, so Andrew, you killed him.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what would happen. I did a save first and then killed him. Yeah, he dies and then you just pull the code, the terminal password off of his corpse and everything. Because I thought I remembered something's fishy here. This guy isn't who he's saying he is, and da da da. So I did a save and shot him immediately. But then I went back on my save. Yeah.
Ray, how do you get the holotape if you don't kill him and you just leave him down there? Do they still give it to you?
He gives it to you. Yeah.
Okay, so no matter what, it's almost too easy. Like you can feel like you're clever and you got distracted from him. No, you didn't. So you go forward and you're like, I'm going to save the day, and you kind of search around and you find a terminal where you can restore power. Reading the terminal, there's a couple things in there. It's kind of interesting. You learn about some of the notes in there from employees pre-war. I wonder if I didn't have them saved. So I guess I don't have them to read to you, but it's kind of hilarious because there's some back and forth with a guy named G. McKenzie, who's been assigned to work there. And he gets some of the, the bad jobs. I think it's nepotism. I think he's related to somebody in charge. And so he keeps getting the bad jobs and he's getting pissed. And he's like complaining about the kids and, there's gum again. The kids sticking gum in the shower, clogging things up. And this and that. He's getting really angry. And he's like, so he actually reprograms the Collectron to try to stop the kids from doing that. And then if you go after that to the bottom terminal entry, there's a note to all employees. We can't discuss the incident with a Protectron and a child with any outside help. So yeah, apparently the Protectron took matters in their own hands. I'm sure the kid's fine. I think the note does say that they're fine, but
he's a pile of ash somewhere.
The Gordon McKenzie stuff was kind of funny on that terminal. But anyway, you start the power up. The lights come on. If you start main power, it allows you to use the Nuka Express to get into Nuka World. Mm-hmm. If you start auxiliary power, it turns it on for the station and you get all the lights and stuff back. And then from there, you can go into the monorail and go up front and activate it. And that takes you on the way to Nuka World, and that completes the all aboard quest.
Now, one of the things I did try when I was stuck in Nuka World was try to get back on the tram and take it back to the Commonwealth, but it kept saying there is no power, the power is cut, yada yada yada.
Yep.
How did the train get sent to Nuka World without power? Like the origin station had power, but the receiving station did not. So
we don't know what point they cut it. They may cut it when you arrive because you're immediately greeted by Red Eye when you get there.
And Red Eye has control of the power as well. So like when you show up, Red Eye cuts the power to the station then maybe?
Right, because the power is cut to if you try to use the elevator in that room too. When you get there and unload for the beginning of the next quest, taken for a ride, there's an elevator there. You try to use it, it says the power is cut as well. Yeah. But that can be restored later when you're not in that quest.
And is all this power restorable by turning on the switch at the top of the power station later on after pretty much at the end of the DLC, or can you turn on the station power like after the gauntlet?
I haven't gone back to check this playthrough. Ray or Steve, do you guys remember? I feel like once you finish the whole gauntlet, it's automatically back on.
Oh, is it? Okay.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've never tried to ride the tram back. I always use the fast travel point.
Well, it would be nice if it was there, Ray.
So I did run through the gauntlet the normal way, and then I did a couple things in Nuka World, and I decided to go back to the Commonwealth and check it out and see how long it would take me. So I didn't know necessarily where to go because I've always just fast traveled back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so I had to run outside Nuka World back and then to where the tram
And you can get in, right?
station is.
Uh-huh.
Well, I had to run up these stairs and take a chain off of a door
Yep.
Yeah.
to get in,
That's the
which
backwards.
put me at the
yeah.
beginning of where it is,
Right.
where at the beginning of the gauntlet, basically that door there. Um, so then I was like, oh, okay, I'm here, and then I could get back in the tram, and it took me back to the
Okay,
Commonwealth.
so it did work.
Immediately
Good.
after the
Uh-huh.
gauntlet, the power is restored. Okay.
Yeah, and it was
But
really fast. It was like going through, from one cell into another, and I was back in the other station. There was no long travel to get back to the Commonwealth.
Oh, they didn't make you go through the whole ride again in reverse order. Where is Nuka
Not
World? And
until I returned to Nuka World from the Commonwealth, then they
Then
made
you
me
make you
sit
go
through
through
the whole
again.
ride again.
oh, good lord, they should
Mhm.
trim that down. That's crazy. Where is Nuka World? How far is it from Boston? Is it literally just that like sort of 5-minute ride that we take? Is that what we're supposed to?
They never actually
Together.
show where it is on the map exactly, but I would
No.
assume like it's just beyond the range of hills you see. Like
Okay.
when you're looking kind of to the west, because I was trying to figure it out. I jetpacked up as high as I could in that area and looking, to the west over the transit center.
Mhm.
And there is this ridge of hills, and there's a bit of a depression behind it. So in my mind, like I'm like Nuka World must be back there, but I don't think it ever actually shows on the map.
Okay. I was just curious if they had any lore terminals or anything that told us how far it was or whatever. All right.
Just says it's in Massachusetts, west of Boston.
Massholes.
Masshole.
All right. Taken for a ride.
Speaking of massholes, back to the Raiders.
Back to the Raiders. All right. Ray, you said you skipped the gauntlet. Steve, since you went through the gauntlet, why don't you tell us about your adventures, your trip through the gauntlet there?
Yeah, pretty straightforward. That first room you go in, I knew where there were turrets, so I knew where to like go slow and come up and watch out for those ones behind the walls because those will surprise you. You'll think everything's clear, but you go past and there's a turret there.
They are rough. They are so hidden in the first large room area.
They really
Yeah.
are. They did a good job at that.
In survival, it is hard. Like you feel like, oh, I took out 3 turrets, I'm good. And then there's a 5th, and then there's a 6th, and then there's 10.
Mhm.
Yes.
Steve,
It's rough.
remind us of your character just real quickly. What's your main weapon style? What's your main attack and stuff?
It's a kiloton rifle, the
Right,
radiation 45 radium rifle from Far Harbor.
Right.
And then I also carry a mighty radium rifle. So
nice.
it does the extra radiation damage, but it doesn't have explosive in case I'm in close quarters and I don't want to blow myself up.
Right. I remember you saying that on your feedback recently. Right.
Yeah. And then one weapon that I never seem to go to is I just got the Lorenzo's gamma gun.
Oh.
His one that does it. And apparently if you put electrical on it, the electrical mod, it does really crazy weird stuff. It sends out this weird pulse.
Oh,
Like
neat.
it's not a gamma gun green radiation. It's its own like almost like a sound wave. Like it goes.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm using that sometimes, but not often.
Nice.
Mostly just the kiloton rifle. And I can sneak. I have sneak perks. So
Good deal.
yeah. And that helps not set off traps.
It's pretty
Yes.
rough, though. It's pretty rough. We were talking, the gauntlet was harder than I remembered in some ways. I mean, even going really slow, and man, did they taunt you. Like the whole reason Red Eye's there is to get you to make a mistake and go faster, right?
Yes.
The whole reason why they keep, telling you, yeah. Anyway.
Good Lord, I've never seen someone go so slow. Let's hurry it up already.
Yeah, let's get some action happening. Yeah, it's wretched. But there's oil, and so you got turrets in the first room and all different kinds, but then there's a lot of tripwires and oil and stuff in the
Huge
next
amount
area.
of tripwires in the next room. Yeah.
So
And radiation.
disabling a lot of them, so you disable the tripwires, and there's the place in that area. I think it's the next one where you've got that one door that you can pick the lock to kind of get past a lot of it. But so you pick that lock. It's a master lock, which of course you couldn't do, Steve, since I can only do the one below, but I had a locksmith reader on me. So I read it and I managed to pick it and go through and remember that.
Yeah, in some ways it's good to have a limitation sometimes.
It is. Red Eye is all, so you pick the lock. What, doesn't make you special. Like, they make fun of you, of course, when you do it. But you go through. One thing that I go real, so I realized I feel like the gauntlet is where I first picked up the habit that I've had for years now. When I see an oil slick, I back up and I almost always set them on fire.
You shoot it.
You know what
right?
I mean?
Yeah.
I need to kind of test like the area it goes, the range. I kind of like preemptively set it on fire. And I think it's the gauntlet that might have driven that in my head because I found myself doing it here and I'm like, really useful because you burn that out ahead. You're much safer. And that way, if you do set off an explosive, there's not the oil anymore to make it much worse.
Yeah. That secondary damage of the fire is always
it's huge.
Gets you off. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to remember, you go upstairs and you spin around and then you come out and what does it take? Does it take you to the...
There's like a three-way door area. Like I feel like it's a three-way door area and like there's one that explodes and then another one that does something. My head just have a jingle. Then
so
something.
Funny. Yes.
And then you go down into the radiation.
That's the one I opened, the one that explodes. But I backed up really quick. You can always hear it and go, and freak out and back up real fast.
Always the third door. Like, why do you do that? I started on the right, then the center, and then finally the left. And that was the one I needed. But I think that's where you go into all the radiation, right? And it's like mega rads.
Yes. And being a radiation build, that's great. But, that also means I don't always have a whole lot of room to play with.
Mm-hmm.
So because I'm already carrying, I'm not doing a full radiation like with the Children Chosen of Adam thing that I did before, which was fun because then I never had to worry about radiation, but I couldn't wear different pieces of armor.
Yeah.
So now I'm running around 50% radiation rads. So if I start taking on huge amounts, then it's too much. Then I got to take a rad away. But then I have my medic up all the way, so it takes away all my rads, and then I'm like out of rads, so I have to wait for the rad away to wear off so that I can go back into that room with the huge amounts of radiation and rad myself up to 50% before I come back out. That's what I did.
Nice.
Tedious radiation management.
Very. I had a refreshing beverage. So for this area that was like the worst radiation when you're going down in, and it's so bad, I took a refreshing beverage and tried to get through it fast enough before it wore off. So that when I actually got to the other side and unlocked that door, I was only about a quarter radiated because it had gone, more than halfway down, then all the way back up, and then back to like a quarter down. You grab a key on the way.
Refreshing beverage provides like rad X type defense.
It acts like Radaway. It actually doesn't. I believe it does heals HP and reduces rads majorly.
Oh, nice.
So it'll heal you right up, but it doesn't have a rad X effect.
And that's not ice cold. That's a different effect.
That's just a cool thing you find.
Okay.
Can you make them, Ray? I think you can, right? Is it craftable?
Yeah, you have to have the chemist perk, I think.
Yep. So I got that now, so I can do some base things. But yeah, that was really helpful. So you get past all that in the Raz, you get an area where I don't remember if the grenade bouquets are next with all so many grenades and tripwires. And I mean, it is just.
So wait, the ones in the hallway going up where they have the
that weird crooked hallway
triggers and any of them set off, and then there's just grenade bouquets everywhere. Yeah, that's fun.
It's so much disarming. I feel like I'm in a spy movie where you got like your character and you're kind of like diving through all the laser beams and like doing acrobatics and stuff just to get through these tripwires.
Totally. I think at the end of that, I was running away with like 40 grenades or something stupid.
It was wicked bad. And you think, okay, that's got to be the worst. Like, how annoying is this? Got to be the worst. And it is not the worst. So you get to another area. The next area you get to, there is, and you think you're clever, okay, because there's a terminal there. And on the terminal, if you get into the terminal, I don't remember if you have to hack it or not. I think you do have to hack it, but it's easy. There's a turret control there. Well, the turrets are actually set to off. So if you hack the terminal and you get in there and you turn it on, you're actually activating them as opposed to deactivating them.
Oh, no.
which then you get to the next room that has all 10, by the way, and you can always check when you're in one of those terminals how many charts are connected. 10. I'm like, okay, 10. Well, I saw this and I activated it on purpose. I'm like, okay, I am making a bad choice here, but I need to know. So I activated them. And then you go to the next room with the jangles and the turrets. Now, do you guys remember this?
Jangles
Now,
and the
I did
turrets.
not.
But it's
turn them on.
the
Yeah,
symbol
go ahead.
monkeys, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. The symbol monkeys. Yeah. Not a jangles. So the symbol monkey at the end. So the way that this is supposed to work is that when you activate the symbol monkey, all the turrets activate and shoot you. But if you do it ahead, and activate them all, when you get in, they're ready to shoot you right away. If you shoot out the jangles, then supposedly they're not supposed to activate. But what happened to me when I shot out the jangles was they all looked at it, and then I took a step forward, and they all turned at me and just started firing. So it was a hail of bullets, 10 turrets, but I did take them down without dying, thanks to
Oh, good
Deliver and
Lord.
lots of VATs. But it was danger zone for sure. I lost more than half my health.
Danger zone.
Mhm. So with you with the turrets, Steve, do you remember that at all or not really?
You know what? I was just moving forward in like sneak mode, and I just started shooting them from up above as soon as I saw them, and
Smart.
just took them out one by one. I don't remember them turning on me at all or turning on, so I didn't turn them on in the terminal. I have in this game have been using a lot of terminals because I have hacking, so I do use it. But you know what? In the gauntlet, I was just kind of like go go go,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
focusing through because I hadn't slept
So
in a while.
the next one has a bunch of rad rats, and there's a funny turret here. There's an animatronic alien. So it's a small maze, and there's an alien. And you think, oh, that's not a turret. So you're walking up on it. Oh, cool, there's an alien. You get close, and it shoots
Zap,
the
zap,
hell
zap,
out
zap,
of you
zap,
because
zap,
it is a
zap.
turret. So that hurt. And then you kind of get by that, and there is a place that if you get up on top, you can kind of crawl across a little walkway and unlock a door at the end, which I did. And Red Eye was upset. He's like, "Oh, someone's supposed to board that up." So I might have skipped a little section, but it's not much. Like I think otherwise you just kind of go through some water and up around a corner. And
Oh
so
yeah, you trigger the Mirelurks if you go down there.
So I didn't
Oh,
trigger the
right.
Mirelurks. I managed to skip that part.
Oh, okay. I couldn't get through the door. I had to trigger them.
Right, of course. Are there a lot?
No, there's like 3.
Okay, good. So it's not horrible. But yeah,
I
That's-
remember
rad
them being
rats.
difficult at lower levels or whatever, but not now.
And there are a couple spots in the maze too where like the radiation starts hitting you. Like there's just throughout this. It's trap, it's oil, it's fire, it's enemies, it's radiation. It's quite the gauntlet.
Am I remembering
it's so-
correctly that that location you're talking about has boards going over a pit, and then
Yes.
the boards will fall down if you don't move quickly enough, and then
Yes.
you have to go off to a tunnel off to the left or something like that? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm remembering.
So
Yes.
and if you do, it's Mirelurks, and if you manage to get through, you can unlock a door. You feel special. But then you go to the next area, and the door slams down on you, and Dogmeat is stuck on the other side, and there's gas in the air. And this is when you start to panic a
Yes.
little bit. Okay. I maybe had enough of the gauntlet at this point because I started looking for the gas, and I'm turning. There are big old knob thingies, big old
The
spinning
big
wheels.
yellow knob.
Valves. That's what they're called. Valves.
Valve.
So I'm turning them, and Red Eye's just he's like, haha, that's not gonna help. And I keep doing it. He's like, I told you that wouldn't help. Meanwhile, you're starting to choke and die. And then rad roaches are attacking you. So you shoot a rad roach, which means you have an explosion in the gas, and then everything's on
Kaboom.
fire, and you
Yep.
lose half your health. And you tell yourself you're not going to do that again, but then you start panicking, and then you're attacked by more rad roaches, and you do it again, and maybe even a third and fourth time. Okay, I was rushing. I was getting pretty annoyed at this point, and I knew it was going to happen. But it turns out that if you get attacked by a bunch of rad roaches at once, it takes a little while for the gas to build back up. So just try to shoot them all at once, get it over with. It won't keep exploding every time. Takes a little bit for it to work out. But ultimately, after you do that, you do find a key in one place near the end. You get into a little substation room, and that's where you can get in system. You can turn off the gas, and it'll let you out to the next area. So that's how I did it.
Usually
Steve, did you have any more luck than I did?
Beautiful.
That's exactly what I did. I ran in, and I know there's a spot when you first get in there to the right, I want to say, and you go and there's a key on a shelf back in there. I don't know what key
Yeah.
that was,
Mhm.
but yeah, I grabbed that key right away. I found it. First thing I went in, and then I just ran around and did it. But I just want to comment. There's always a legendary rad roach in there. It seems like
Yeah,
is that
there
like a
is.
regular? That's like there's
I had
always
one
a
too.
legendary in that room. Yeah, I probably got like an acrobatic metal arm or something. Yeah, really exciting.
But when you kill that rad roach, you get a bunch of smaller rad roaches out of it, and they
Yeah.
don't stop. They're like Mylar hatchlings. Like they're just swarming all over you, and you kind of have to shoot them to get anything done. It was
You really
frustrating.
do. Yeah, yeah.
That's how they get
No,
you.
you can't just let them bite at your heels.
And then the next area is the ants, which is I believe the ants is the next area. You kind of climb up to the attic, and I mean there's maybe a little thing along the way, but that's the next big area. And that's where you came back in, Andrew, when you were playing.
Yeah, the sort of go up the area and you end up in a large shed with flying ants and such is where I pop back in.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a legendary ant in there for me too. I don't know if everyone there's
Yeah,
always
there
a
was one
legendary
for me too.
Yeah. It wasn't one of the flying
Right,
ones,
man.
but there's a legendary one crawling around. I got a lucky Chinese officer's sword.
Oh, sweet. I was right on the edge of cucumbered, so I don't think I even looked at the legendary items at that point. I was ready to go. I was ready to move on.
Yeah. And good thing I saved there. This is where you find the chained door on the outside of that shed and you go in. I saved there. Good thing, because once you go and you turn immediately out of the shed, that's when the raiders have the chain link fence above and they can stand and start shooting down at you. That's the first time we set off the 38 grenade bouquets hanging from there and killed myself. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be smart.
Yeah.
I'm going to be smart this next time. I'm going to throw one of my grenades out the door and duck back inside and blow up all the grenade bouquets and get the raiders running around up on top. It got the raiders up on top, but it also killed me inside the shed that the explosion was so big. There just must be so many fucking grenades hanging down there.
Trying to defuse those
it is
first
crazy.
couple when you're getting shot at it's as bad as the gas.
It's
Yeah.
crazy in there. But it's just a short, take a left, go back to the right. I think there's a turret once you go back underneath when it's not chain link anymore, but more of a solid ceiling. I think there's a turret or two around the corner when you bend back to the right. But not far from there is the Nuka, the Nuka car, the cola
They
cars.
do some real damage though. Like it's not that long, but it's dangerous. Like Ray, you're level 40s now, right? Going through there.
Yeah.
Did you have any trouble with all these guys? I found they were pretty dangerous.
Yeah, none whatsoever. So you jump up on top of the roof for the shed and
Okay.
snipe the ants.
Mhm.
Through the
But
holes.
some of them will fly down that little corridor, and they set off the Tesla trap at the end.
Okay.
So that's deactivated. You kill them. You also, while you're up on top, you take out the grenade bouquets and the turret.
You can do that from above?
Do you shoot
Yeah,
them?
you just shoot them.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Smart. Okay.
And then they fall down, but they don't blow up.
Can you just go pick them up then?
Probably, but I don't wait
Nice.
that long because
You're moving through there, right?
So drop down, unchain the door. There's a novice lock to get into the shed. And I briefly looked at the legendary ant, and it had, the acrobat synthetic arm, type thing.
Ooh, hopefully it'll be safe crackers this time.
It's Safe Crackers leather.
And so I left it. But so as soon as you go out that door, then the raiders start scrambling around above and start shooting at you. But if you've already done the prep work, all you do is just run to the end. I might have taken, a hit or two at the most and was through the door. And then
Wow.
you're into the cola cars. And
The raiders keep coming if you kill them, though. Like
if you stand around and think you're doing good shooting at them, they keep coming down. I thought about it when I was talking with Andrew about it. it could probably have dropped some landmines up on the roof of that chain link area.
Oh, yeah, smart.
So that when the raiders spawn out, they'd blow up. But then I thought, okay, well,
All those grenades
they
would
also
go
might
too.
blow me up.
Yeah.
So, it as long as you've taken out the turret and the Tesla arc and the grenade bookcase, you can get through before they do any real damage to you.
Beautiful.
It says trying mines, they do take out a few, but they still keep coming. And yeah, that was kind of, I'm not going to say my mistake, but I was going through pretty slowly and they were taking me down. I got down to probably 10, 20% health a couple times going through there. Nerd Rage kicked in at least once, if not twice. And I took up probably 9 up top, maybe 10. Like, even though they only show up maybe 2 at a time, 1 or 2 at a time, but at a couple points I had as many as 3 up there and I kept taking them out. And yeah, so I think I had 10 totally. So I was probably going way too slow, giving them way too much opportunity to hit me.
Yeah, and it's a fairly straight shot. And if you don't have to worry about any of the traps, you can just sprint to the end and be done with it.
Probably are better off just kamikaze running through
Yep.
as fast as you can to the end.
Yeah.
I started out slow. I started running into the same thing you did, Jess. I started realizing I'm like, Nerd Rage kicked in. I better hit a stim pack. Oh, now I got a drink of water. Okay, I'm shooting these guys. And I'm moving forward slowly. Oh, hey, look, I need to stim pack again. Drink another water. I only have a limited supply of those, So I was like, move faster, Steve.
Keep going. Run,
So I
run,
ran to the
run.
end.
Yeah, and there's someone mocking you as soon as you get into the end part there. The another you need yet another person mocking you. The one on the radio, and then what's his name, Coulter or whatever.
Coulter there, getting in his armor, looking all fancy. I have a few pictures there. I do like the lighting in the color cards arena,
It
like
is
the
neat,
reds and purples and pinks. It's nice.
You work your way past some. I always wanted to try to shoot him. There's like a little area like chain link in the sort of breaks, and you can see him down in there and try to shoot, but it doesn't let your bullets pass.
Doesn't
there.
work.
No,
No.
it doesn't let
Can't draw
you
your
do it.
weapons.
Yeah. But you go and you find like a locker room basically at the end of the hallway there.
With an intercom on the wall.
Intercom on the
Gage
wall.
is
It
talking
took
to you.
me forever to find that intercom this time. I kept looking on the wrong wall. I was like looking over by the door by where you would exit, and it's not there. It's on sort of like.
Did you
the
have
interior
sound
middle
up or
wall.
where?
Yeah,
Because you can kind of locate based on the speakers and sound, but yeah, it's a little hard.
I was playing remote on my phone. So it makes you don't really get the stereo sound effect. The directional sound is a little harder to hear through the little phone speaker, so it wasn't.
That would
very
make a big
helpful.
difference. Yeah. And they're telling you at the time to like stock up. So this is before you talk to Gage. Coulter is taunting you and Red Eye, and they say stock up, come on out, and then you hear. What is it? You hear like the longest anyone's ever lasted against Coulter is like 1 minute and 37 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
The
I
record.
do remember that. So is that the point when Gage is the one talking you through the intercom?
On the intercom. Yep.
Yeah. And he says that there's a special weapon that you need to obtain. He doesn't actually tell you what the weapon is, I don't think, but he just says,
No.
"Hey, there's a weapon
Not that
somewhere. Go grab it." Like I don't think
Stashed in the locker.
he's not very specific, so you got to look around all the lockers and you find a Nuka World themed red squirt gun that you need to take into the final room there.
Which this is the first time you see one of those thirst blasters.
Zapper.
Yeah,
First
there's Zapper.
Yeah.
This is the first time we saw one, right? Was there one in Fallout 3? I don't remember.
I have zero clue.
I don't think so. I think it was new here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool. Iconic. You pull it out and you're like, go back to Gage. You're like, this is a squirt gun.
This is a toy.
What is this supposed to do?
But then he informs you of his plan. That's like, the power armor that Coulter wears is electrified and connected to the ceiling, so he can now use this squirt gun to squirt, and have his power armor short out, and that is going to be the main downfall. And evidently, Gage has been planning this for a long time. He has set this all up. before you even came, and was just like, oh, thank God this person made it through the gauntlet. That proves that they're powerful, and here's the plan, and we're going to take down Coulter. So this, you'll get into more of the relationship a little bit later when you talk to him up in the whatever that tower is called. So then after you find the squirt gun and you get into you talk on the intercom, you get into that final room there, and you find Coulter in some really cool power armor, latched onto the ceiling like a bumper car rail, and it gives him a special sort of I don't know, sort of like a splash damage.
It's a charge. It's an electro field.
Area of
unlimited
damage.
armor power.
Yeah.
It's like his power armor doesn't need a fusion core. It has a
a permanent, hard
but it also makes him invincible.
And you can damage him. I talked about before how, the first time I fought him, I actually tried doing a squirt. Maybe it wasn't the first, but one of the couple times I'd done it. And, with crit hits, you do some damage. And if you're, you're in there, you're lobbing grenades, you're getting crits on him, you're doing a lot of attacks, you can get him down, but it's tough.
Yeah. So I walked in with my squirt gun in hand, and he's standing across the room, and I'm like, ha, squirt, squirt, squirt. And it goes like 8 feet in front of me. It doesn't hit him. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, me too.
So he's laughing at you, but he engages his electricity and comes flying. And then I, step a little closer, and I shoot him with the squirt gun, and then all of the power stuff falls off, and he doesn't have that effect on him anymore. And then I bust over to my explosive 10mm gun, apply my VATS, and one round of, because I can get like 13 shots or something in my VAT. I've got lots of AP. All of my armor has the ultralight, so it gives me the AP bonus of 5 or 10, whatever it is. So I can get like 12 or 13 shots off of my explosive pistol. I shot him with the squirt gun. He lost power, and it took less than 1 round of VATS to kill him.
Are you serious? You killed him that first time you shorted him out?
It was almost as quick as my Kellogg fight, Jess. I should have filmed the video. It was bam, 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 bam. He's gone.
I believe it was 3 rounds for me. It was, once I got him down, it was pretty quick. But I mean, by the time you switch from the squirt gun back to your other weapon, and then, you've used some AP already, like it can be, it takes a little bit, because his armor comes back pretty quick, I found. But what I did was, the first time I had used VATS with a squirt gun, and it took like 8 shots before it exploded. Then I realized, hey, I'm using all this AP, VATS in the squirt gun. So second time I did squirt gun without VATS, took him down, exploded, and then switched to VATS for a deliverer. And that took his health, probably like 3/4 of the health I lost in that second round. And then I think he was right on the edge in the third round was the charm.
Nice. Good one. Steve, kiloton rifle work okay for you after you squirted him?
Yes, I think I did it in 2. I went in, tried to squirt him right away, and that, just like you, too far away. So I had to get up closer to him and then squirt him, and then I switched over. But I had favorited them on different number.
I did that
binds.
too. Yeah.
And so I could switch back and forth, and so I switched over, and he was running around behind the bottles though. I couldn't. He was dodging me, so I then had to re-squirt him.
Hey, that was Clint trying to earn his summer wages. Be careful.
Yeah.
And then I shot him and took him out.
Nice. How about you, Ray?
And
Did you have fun with
rifle worked?
Did you have fun with Coulter there at the end?
Coulter was about as trivial as the gauntlet.
Did you just run past him?
So yeah, pretty much. So because I'm melee, I had to close the distance anyway. So there's a brief moment at the beginning of the fight where he doesn't attack you. He's taunting you.
Yeah.
So I ran forward, shooting him with the squirt gun, and then as soon as he shorted out, I hotkeyed over to the Ripper and it just he's gone.
Wow. So just one round too. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
he didn't stand a chance.
That Ripper sounds
That-
dangerous.
That is impressive, y'all. Yeah. So I guess I'm the
Yeah,
slowest
because it's
here.
got staggered too.
Mhm.
So even though he's in power armor, he was just done.
See, I did try doing a solid round before I used the squirt gun just to see how much damage I could do with the liver. Because like I said, I remember getting pretty far one time when I was really trying to do it without the squirt gun, and it really is so minuscule. Like the plinking does almost nothing, and then the crits you can see, but it's just like 2%, 3%. It's like fighting a Scorched Beast Queen, So,
I may have
that's good.
popped some food or
Mhm.
chems too before going in. I usually take like a Mentat, just
Yep,
an
I had
intellect
medics for
boost,
sure.
and
Medics is good.
maybe a psycho,
But so
depending
we
on
all
who my companion is.
took him out.
Yeah, fairly quickly. I remember in the past that it took, long time, like the, squirt again and go another round. This was definitely the way to go. Yeah.
We're higher level, and in survival, we do a little more damage too, right? So,
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe been through it a couple times.
Yeah, know what to expect.
Yeah, I think I built it up a little. Like I remembered it being a lot harder, so I was like ready to go. Like you said, see, I took a psycho and was ready for a big battle.
Fortunately, with the Ripper, I don't need to take any meds at all.
Just let her rip.
You definitely need meds, Ray.
I took a stim pack after because I did take a couple of hits.
But after you take him down, you can then loot his body. Is there a possibility to pop him out of his power armor? That sometimes if you can,
you've got to have a frame with you.
Okay.
If you want to mount it to something,
right? So you can loot his body and take all the power armor pieces.
Yeah, which in Fallout 4 means wearing it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can't have it in your pocket.
There's no stashing multiple frames in your backpack, like in 76.
Yeah. Fortunately, I was already low. I had anticipated picking up the armor, so I was already low, in carry weight, and so I easily cleared it with a rad stag, grilled rad stag.
Oh, right. That increases carry weight.
The extra carry weight.
So once he's dead, it's announced and people are kind of incredulous. And that's when, Gage kind of shouts out and to the other leaders. And you hear the leaders kind of shouting, like Nisha and Mags and the leaders of the different gangs, that people are kind of shocked, but they're like, okay, and they're willing to accept you as overboss, as Gage has said. And as we hear a little bit more about that, there was an agreement about this.
Yeah, you get into a conversation with Gage there right at the door. He lets you out, but then he instructs you, "Hey, let's go have another conversation. Come talk to me at what is it called, Fizz Top or something?"
Yeah, Fizz Top Mountain. Yeah,
come talk to me at a Fizz Top Mountain. What does the overboss's power armor do? One of the pieces was legendary. Does it have an like the explosive sort of electrical damage cloud thing? Is that what that one does? I don't remember. I just remember one of the pieces had a legendary effect to it. I kind of expected it to be like the Tesla set where there would be multiple legendary pieces, but I only had one legendary piece. I think it was the
really
chest.
just bulked up Raider power armor. I think it has like an energy damage effect on it, kind of like
if a
in 76 where you can do the prickly stuff.
Yeah. Right. And then so we're instructed to go meet Gage up at Fizz Top, and
also that power armor is equal to T60.
Oh, so it's not like an
so
XO1
it's not just your
or
standard
anything.
Raider power armor.
Yeah, it's definitely bulked up from Raider stuff.
But isn't the chest legendary? Did you say what that was?
Yeah, that's the one that has the effect. I think it's the chest that does the.
It's like if a
energy
melee
damage
person
to
hits
enemies.
you, you give a cloud burst of electrical damage to people around you or something. I don't know. I haven't put it on yet. It's a.
And then put the Tesla arms on that.
I didn't even pick it up. It was too darn heavy.
Together. Yeah, Tesla would work well with that. That'd be fun. Yeah. So you went and talked to Gage, Jess?
So when you leave, this is your chance to really explore Nuka World a bit if you want. If you want to take your time and look around, talk to everybody there. Or you can go right to Fizztop, talk to Gage, and then move on to the quest, which will have you exploring Nuka World a bit. So really it's up to you how you do it. But you mentioned right at the beginning in your notes, you put Harvey the bait and his fate. I think that was you, right, Andrew?
No, that was me.
No.
Oh, okay. Steve, Harvey the bait and his fate. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, because you mentioned you guys said that you killed him, right? You killed him in the.
So
Oh,
I
the
didn't.
guy in the
Ray
front,
let him
yes,
damaged,
right.
and Andrew killed him. Yeah.
What is his
So
fate?
I did not kill him. I just went along with it, and I think I hit
Mhm.
the down option and went, yep, sure, I'll go do that. And I followed his instructions. So he kind of suckered me basically as a character, right? This is how I played it out. And I went through the gauntlet and I got there. And then I see him. I run over to him. He's over near the front gate. And I see him. So of course I'm like, okay, well, I just took the easy path before. So now I'm gonna give him shit, right? I'm gonna see what
Of
happens.
course. Yeah.
So yeah. So I went to him, he's all, hey man, sorry, it's just, don't blame me. It's just my job. Um, and so I threatened him, and he turned against me, right? So and he turned red, and so Travis starts shooting him with the gamma gun,
Attaboy, Travis.
and then my robot that was my companion at the time started shooting him with it's got a radiation gun and
Mhm.
the other one is, I want to say what shoots the spikes, the railway gun.
Oh,
It has
nice.
a railway gun on one arm and a radiation thing on the other.
That's
and
intense.
its name is Mule. I named the robot Mule because I just gave it like extra carrying weight,
Yeah.
and it follows around. It has no voice. It just beep boops at me.
I
And
love
so
that
it starts attacking him also. Also, I noticed the other like the pack and the operators who were there started turning and attacking him. And
one. I
then he
expected you
died.
to say you, but they attacked him. That's
No,
cool.
they attacked him. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the overboss now.
I guess
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. But apparently he's marked as essential, so he doesn't die. He just
Oh,
goes down,
no.
takes a knee, and then a minute later he pops back up, and everybody attacks him again.
Perpetual battle.
And he runs away and tries to hide.
Oh
So
no.
I've punished this guy to an unending repeated deaths over and over as all the different pack and the guard and like he's still there. I've like slept at Fizz Top Grill. I've come back, and then he'll see me and be like, oh my god, and then everybody turns on him
He's
and
like,
shoots
hey,
him.
buddy. Everyone goes to shoot him.
So he has a conversation option where you can say you're a dead man. Did you choose that one, or did you just
I
threaten
think-
him?
That must be the one I did, is
Okay.
you're a dead man. You're a dead man.
That's
Oh my
hilarious.
goodness. That's intense. So yeah, I didn't, because I went in willingly because we had the talk, and I said, hey, I'm going to go take out these raiders. We're forcing you to do this. So I was actually surprised to see him there, because when I left him, he was sitting on a bench having a delicious coffee, and I thought that he was going to actually make like a tree and get out of there. But no, he didn't. He's back in and he's wearing a collar, and I'm like, damn, son, what's going on? And that's when, if you have a good long talk with him, you realize that he actually, has lost his family already, and he is a captive there, like all the other traders. That the raiders came in only about a year ago and took over Nuka World and enslaved a lot of people, and that they are threatening them. That there used to be two of them who would do this at the gate. They were using two of them, but one of them actually tried to escape one time, and when he did that, he was, of course, tracked down, caught, and then they killed two of their friends there to make as an example. And that this is not an idle threat. You learn from Harvey, that they have punished people whenever he has transgressed or not done what he's been told. And of course, then there were two killed when this other guy who did it with them tried to escape one time. And yeah, so he has to come back. If he had have just left the Commonwealth, people would have been punished, and he knows that. So he is under their thumb. Or, you could do what Steve did.
The predicament of Harvey. Wow.
Just now I feel like a jerk.
Poor guy.
So, of course, the other person you meet there when you first leave Kolakars is Nira. There are a couple of conversations there. It's interesting. They set it up so that you get a feel for the raiders as you walk through the park. You run into initially like disciple and operator talking when you first leave, having a conversation. You hear them talking to a trader who's, like, I'm tired, and then he's threatened within an inch of their life and has to keep working. And there are a few other times like that. Well, one of the second or third people you're going to run into leaving is Nira. And Nira is the Nuka-Cola kind of park assistant attendant that'll tell you, where to go.
Oh,
and so from there we go and we talk to Gage up at the Fizz Top Grill. It's the next part of the quest.
Beautiful. What do we figure out from Gage?
So we kind of get this background here about how the Raiders came in and took over, about how Coulter and, he as Coulter's right-hand man, and they got the three gangs together. They had this idea of like this fortified Raider base from which they could take over, parts of the Commonwealth. And, they're going to take Nuka World USA first and then all the rest of the park and set up this big thing. And then when they got there and actually took over, they managed to conquer this area. They got the slaves, they got the traders, they got, that whole park area, got a pretty nice setup. And Culture kind of got lazy. And, they were going to get to taking over the rest of the park, but they hadn't. And now it's been almost a year. And in that time, they did things like, set up the gauntlet, start the Raider radio and all that. But people are getting more and more restless. So you don't know exactly when, but it sounds like over the last couple of months, because this has been about a year, like I said, that they've been stuck there, at least a month or two. Gage and the other leaders kind of came up with this idea that if they led people through the gauntlet, that if someone made it through, that they would give them the tools they needed to maybe beat Coulter, like you did with the squirt gun. And if you could take him out one-on-one, you would be the next overboss. Like they said, someone who can actually make it through the gauntlet, take Coulter out, because even though you short his power armor, you still have to actually kill him, and he is still pretty tough. Mm-hmm. That you get the chance to be the overboss. So he gets to do that, and you might ask him why he isn't the one to do this. And he talks about how he's kind of been the power behind the throne for a while. People maybe resent how long he's been supporting Coulter, but also he's not as good as people. But you kind of get this idea that maybe he's a bit Machiavellian, and everything going here, he's kind of behind and setting up.
So are the people in the marketplace, sort of the vendors there, who are now slaves, the three Raider factions who moved in the last year, they sort of, those were the people who were here before, right?
Right.
And they sort of came in, took over place, and enslaved all those other people.
So this was a bit of a trader area, trader central, and that's why some people who were going to visit had heard stories about the traders there and that it was an okay place. And I mean, maybe some were captured after and brought back, but it seems like the majority of them were people who were there when they took over. And I assume at the rate that the Raiders seem to kill people, if it's been a year, I assume there's not half as many as he started with. I mean, it's hard to say.
Right. And, it's a good place to fortify. It's got a high wall around an interior cell, and also, it's a good place for Raiders to set up camp, I guess.
Yep. So after you kind of talk through that, you're at the Fizz Top, you get to see, apparently Coulter had a thing for mannequins too. There are mannequins posed all over here by the bed. And if you go in the inside area with the workshops.
Oddly reassembled mannequins too.
Yeah.
So you go back to the Commonwealth, you go into your settlement, you can now build those weird mannequins in your settlements.
No
They
way.
unlock in your build menu. Nice.
They unlock in your build menu. Yeah, a whole bunch of Nuka World stuff unlocks.
There is so much Nuka World stuff. So each park you conquer, you unlock stuff from each of the sections, Galaxy Zone and Galactic Zone, and the Safari Zone and all that stuff. Yeah, you're going to unlock stuff each time. So I guess this is where you must unlock all the basic Nuka World USA stuff, is when you finish this quest.
Sweet. Good deal. I'll have to go back and check that out. If I have a fast travel icon to use at my disposal.
You can't build anything in Nuka World now.
No, not yet, until you're done, and then feel free to build all you want now that we're leaving. Yeah.
Well, if you're actually working with the Raiders and doing stuff, you can make it more of a home. and that's kind of for the future where we're heading. But
Yeah.
essentially after this, you're told by Gage, you have to make the rounds. You have to meet
Yes.
all the different leaders, make an impression on them, get yourself set up. And he's pushing to do this, but it makes sense if you're going to take over as an overboss, that you need to kind of make their acquaintances and kind of start politicking.
You have to meet all your department heads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like we're in the Institute again.
Yep.
Yeah.
The CFO, the CTO, Chief Torture Officer, that's Nisha.
Oh my gosh.
CFO is definitely Mag. She's the finance officer. And what would the other one be? CBD, Chief Doggy Boy? I don't know.
All right. So I got Disciples as my faction that I'm supposed to be
You got
acquainted
lag.
with.
What faction Nuka World are you guys supposed to be? I'm supposed to be the pack.
Oh,
But
you're
I
the
think
pack?
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm supposed to be the pack, but I think I'm gonna go
Nice.
operators because I've never gone operators before.
So I've never gone any of them. I am operators, you're pack, and Ray, you're disciples. Am I remembering right? Or
No, I am operators,
I am.
Okay.
but I think I'm going to
Disciples.
switch up to disciples.
okay. So we're all operators, but you're switching disciples. A lot of people in chat, like a lot of
It
our
depends
Playable
on what
people,
the
got
Andrew is.
disciples.
I'm Disciples.
Oh, are
Okay.
Your
you?
disciples?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'll do pack.
So we got a good mix there, and I don't know what difference it'll make, whichever one we're siding with the most, but it's super cool. So you go around and meet them all. Do you guys have any kind of stories or anything you want to share about meeting them, the different heads?
Really, the only one that is significant is the pack. So with the disciples, you just want to be as aggressive as in all your answers, or all your questions. With the operators, you want to be money focused.
Money.
And then with Mason, you want to be strength. And so you just, you push him on all of your responses, showing that you're the strongest. And by doing so, you get a reward, which is the special handmade rifle called Problem Solver.
But through
That's pretty great.
intimidating the guy in the pack.
It's a Furious.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
So it works great with a commando style build. I definitely got that using, you basically, as you get to the end, you kind of have to put him in his place and let him know you're top dog now. And he's like, not in front of my crew, boss, if you want, me to
Yeah.
maintain control here.
I
But
noticed that.
he backs down and you get the problem solver, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, if you don't pick the strongest responses every single time, then you have to pass. Then the speech check is elevated. But with mine, I didn't get a speech check.
Oh, wow.
It was green all the way through because I had, continually responded with, you're going to do what I tell you to.
Okay. Yeah.
responses.
I did one or two tough ones and one or two not tough ones. So it was like dark yellow orange for me.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't red. It wasn't
I mean,
impossible,
I did
but-
have one red one, which was you could ask him about what's the deal with Gage and Coulter.
Yes. Mhm.
But I didn't care. So
Yeah, I did pass that one. And that's kind of where you get a little bit more background there, where, he just kind of mentions how, well, it seems to me Gage set up Coulter as overboss, and now he set up you as overboss. So, that's where you kind of get the Machiavellian thing going, is that Mason kind of hints at that.
It's going to do the same thing to you. Watch out.
So, but kind of each one has their area. The pack has their area on the lower left there. The operators have the center, and then the disciples have the north by Fizz Top and that whole area. Also, there is an adorable mole rat. So the pack has animals there. I know some of them are fighting, but they've got a mole rat that's hanging out by the cages, kind of doing stuff. He's officially a pack rat because he's with the pack.
Yeah.
He's adorable. Then there They're a bunch of dogs and stuff, and it's pretty cool. It's interesting. There's a gorilla and dog fighting in the middle, but it's a setup battle because I don't think they ever die, right? Like no one ever wins. They're just always fighting.
Yeah, always fun. And the annoying thing is that I mean, there's so much going on. When you're sitting there trying to talk to him, there's this, arf, arf, arf.
It's pretty noisy. Yeah.
Yeah, I was noticing how brutal the pack were because like when you walk in, they have that cage fight going on. They're all looking at it, and then this one pack member guy is talking to Mason, and he didn't do something quite well enough. I think is what happened. I didn't catch the beginning of the conversation, but Mason tells him, he's like, "Look, if you can't be a member of this gang, we can always put a slave collar on you."
Oh, yikes.
And you can serve a purpose for us. And he's like, "Oh no, I'm on top of it. I'll take care of it, boss. Don't worry." So yeah, these, I know it wouldn't be pleasurable because you'd probably be put to fight animals
among other things. Yeah, I mean,
other things,
made to do chores and stuff and clean. It seems like the slaves do a lot of the work around the park, like pretty much everything.
Well, all the work around the park.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And don't get much sleep. But the pack will say things like you only wear a collar if you want to. Like ain't nobody here wearing a collar that didn't volunteer for it. But then you realize volunteering might be, showing a moment of weakness.
Voluntold.
Exactly. And the operators, of course, are motivated by money for the most. And the disciples are motivated by bloodshed and kind of free will, like being able to do whatever they want when they want, like not having rules. So you hear a lot like Nisha's one rule is don't get caught. And they all have that mantra to an extent, but especially them. So you can impress each pack leader by kind of speaking to that if you want, you know what I mean? Taking the whole, hey, we're going to do what we want. And don't worry, I'm not going to make a bunch of rules for you with Nisha. And with the operators, you tell them, hey, I'm here to make some caps. And they're like, hell yeah, you are. And then, of course, with Mason, just being dominant. So I thought, they really kind of each have their own vibe.
Yeah. Now, if you go through the conversation with Mason and don't get rewarded the problem solver, then you can't get that weapon anymore.
Right.
Now there is a gun for sale in the marketplace that has the same furious legendary effect on it, called the splatter cannon. So you can buy that weapon if you didn't get it for free from Mason.
Okay, and it does pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. The furious
it does the exact same thing.
Legendary effect. Yeah.
But it costs you. I saw mine. I think it was 8,200 caps. So
yeah, the stuff in this place is not cheap. The disciples knife, which is a high tier melee weapon, those are pretty pricey too.
I did notice you can change the paint job on it. Clint's mentioning how the other one isn't so brightly colored. And if you do go to a weapon workbench and you go to the paint, you can change it from painted to operators or disciples, and it changed the color. Disciples is pure black. Operators a little bit more standard looking with I kind of think like wood grain on the stock. And then of course the problem solver is all painted and such.
All the pack stuff is pink and green.
Yeah. It's their plumage. They're like, hey, if you're not standing out, you're nobody. You got to show up. So that's kind of how they're essentially like boasting. You know what I mean? Like animals kind of showing off their colors or their plumage. Bali mentions in chat, that you can always get 2 of the faction perks. The faction with the least territories and reach a total of 8 betrays you. And yeah, we'll get there in the story as we go through and play. But it is true that you can technically always keep 2 of the factions and you only lose the one that because of the way there's 5 zones in the park, someone always ends up with 1. And it can't be even. And so they're going to be the ones who, right, exactly. Or none, depending on how you do it. And they'll betray you. But we're essentially picking one that we're allying with. But yeah, technically you can get perks from 2 of them and sort of ally with 2 of them.
Sweet.
When I was meeting with each of the faction leaders, I ended up keeping the conversation going and picking up a quest from each one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
was
'cause you can-
inevitably
you can
go
do
back to the
radiant quests for
Commonwealth
all
and
of them.
assassinate someone.
Yeah.
I only got that offer from the operators. It's like, if you'd like to make some extra caps, come back and see me for some extra work. I think that's the
Yeah, I was
only one
excited
said.
about that. I didn't remember that there were radiant quests from each of them. And it sounds like each of them you can get radiant quests. So I'm going to make sure and pick those up and
Yeah,
try to curry
it's
favor with them.
murders and bomb collars, I think. Or
Oh goodness.
It wasn't always from the faction leader. Who was it? I had to go talk to like one of the sub bosses at one of the places. I can't remember, but it wasn't always like Nisha who gave you the quest. It was like,
Oh yeah, they might send you to
Mickey or
second.
whatever.
Yeah, Lizzie is with the in the operators you get Mags and William are the two leaders, and then along with Lizzie. And Lizzie is their research, is their mad scientist type. Also, a quick note in chat was discussing earlier, like how are there people shopping amongst the traders? And you got Sierra there, you get people shopping and stuff. That there are non-slaves there in the park, but they're very kind of controlled and corralled, and they're taking chances with their lives by showing up. But how are they there without going through the gauntlet? And the answer to that is that people who are tricked into the gauntlet through the transit center and those rubes that they're pulling in have to go through the gauntlet as entertainment and for various reasons. But you can get there, you can walk in the front gate like Andrew tried to do eventually.
Yeah.
And
those people are just the people that knew about how to slip the chain on the door.
Yeah, but then like the hubologists, like you can approach the park from all kinds of ways. So not everybody there goes through the gauntlet. They might have traveled with Pac Brahmin and stuff to get there other ways.
Yeah, they came from Connecticut.
And actually, everybody pays, even the overboss. One of the vendors says that to you. He's like,
yeah,
and everybody has to pay, even the overboss.
That's good. I mean, at least they got that going for him.
Yeah.
So, Steve, have you already gone and killed some bloodworms and gotten your Calmex silk?
No, so what happened was I went and slept in Fizz Top Grill about then, and then I went back to the Commonwealth and grabbed a couple bobbleheads, and that's when I checked out how long it took me to go back and forth. And then I slept at Sunshine Tidings, and then I got back into Nuka World, and I decided to go to the Grantchester Museum or the Grantchester Mystery House, and that's when I went over there. And then I got through that, and I got up to the door, and I couldn't get in,
locked out
because I took Gage with me. As
not your robot.
companion.
You should have taken your robot with the
I know.
the
I
rail
didn't have the
rifle,
robot
so-
with me. The robot does have the lock picking thing on it. And so I left, and then I just decided to kind of go north from there, just shooting stuff that I ran across. Across a couple of death claws fighting.
Yeah.
And then I ran into a bunch of rad scorpions, and one was a legendary, and that was cool. And then where did I go? I think it was when I was fighting the rad scorpions, and I died. And it put me all the way back at Sunshine Tidings.
Oh no! Oh, shit.
You're kidding, right?
No, I'm not. So that was where I sometimes when I die after a long stretch like that, I'll just like walk away from the game for a minute.
Yeah.
Not like because I'm like
Yeah.
freaking
You have
out or
to.
something. I'm
No.
Gonna
Yeah.
break your keyboard.
okay, there it is. So yeah, and then I did jump. Then next I came back the next day, and that was like this morning or something. And
So talking about all this, you everything we talked about, you did all that, and you finished these quests, and then you died, and never saved.
no, it was all I lost was time spent coming from Sunshine Tidings back to Nuka World.
Yeah.
And
He'd
then
already
right
gone
from there,
through.
from when I arrived, I ran right to the Grantchester. So it was only really just Sunshine to Grantchester and then up above it. But yeah, it was probably
Okay.
it was a little while.
A 20-minute
worth of
tram
play.
ride too.
Yeah, so you lost an hour or two, or maybe a little more. I'm sorry. That sucks.
Yeah, it was like an hour.
So I'm just going to tie a quick bow on the quest so we can move on from that. And essentially, after you talk to the leaders, you go back to Gage, and that's when he tells you the plan is that if we're going to get strong, we got to take over the rest of the park and go back to the original plan of establishing a stronghold here. And of course, you're the person to do it because ain't nobody can do stuff for themselves. Although Gage now is available as a companion to come with you if you want him to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you leave off, heading next to around the horn and taking over some of the parks.
When I was looking for endurance pieces of clothing and such to increase, my damage resistance and such, I found out that Gage's eye patch is an endurance piece of clothing, but you can't get it from him anyway. But like if you PC people could use your terminal to somehow pop it into your inventory, that I just thought that was a fun little piece of trivia that his eye patch gives you a +1 endurance. So if you could have your sea captain's hat plus Gage's eye patch plus all the outfits and stuff, then you can get a little boost to endurance there. Thought that was funny. All right, I think that wraps up our quests for this evening. Any other quest related stuff? You guys can please tip us off next week on your feedback. Please send in your feedback to thefalloutfeed@gmail.com. Use your telephone, the little voice memo app there. Send us a 5-minute sort of update on what you've been getting into on your trip over to Nuka World. Looking forward to hearing from everybody. Hopefully everyone can hop in and go on vacation with us over there to the theme park. Be good to hear from you.
Gage's eye patch comes at a cost, though. So
what's that?
+1 endurance, but -1 perception.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's covering up an eye. I'm surprised it's not -5 perception. Can you terminal that to your inventory? That's possible for you PC people to do?
029C06.
Well, there you go. Is there a mod for Xbox to let me use PC terminal commands? Console commands? I keep saying terminal commands. Console commands?
Ish. There are a few cheat room style mods that are, labeled as such, cheat mod, cheat room, stuff like that give you access to a few commands. So like pre-selected commands you can activate, but not like the actual console, no.
Cheat. All right, sounds good. Let's get into some iguana bits. What do we got in the way of news this week?
Well, I won't take too long with the bits, but we got a couple exciting things to talk about. First of all, the 3rd limited edition Pip-Boy is now available in the Bethesda Gear Store for pre-order starting earlier today. So you guys know that they have been doing limited edition Pip-Boys. They did the Vault one back in May, did an Enclave one in late June, and now the Sugar Bombs, the 3rd one, is out. They are rather expensive. They're a good like $180. You can use some of the discount codes on it. So if you have a 20% discount code, you can use it on the pre-order to get down to around 150 or so. I may have pre-ordered Sugar Bombs. I've been waiting for this one. I've always wanted a real quality Pip-Boy of my own. I don't have the Fallout 4 one like some people. I don't have any of the other replicas. So I was waiting for Sugar Bombs to come out, and I got in on that pre-order. So I'm very excited.
You say quality item. I remember some people complaining about the quality of the Fallout 4 one when they... or was it a 76? I don't remember. There was a pre-order that was either 4 or 76 that you got a Pip-Boy.
It was 76.
That was 76.
Yeah,
okay.
There were, with 76, we're complaining about a lot of the quality things. But yeah, some people complained a little about the Fallout 4 one and the cool boxes. But overall, they were pretty great. And then you could get the other ones that have the built-in like Bluetooth radio and stuff. The little adapter you put it on, the stand. But yeah, these ones are gorgeous. So far, people have gotten them have given excellent feedback that they're really solid. So
good.
Excited about it. And Sugar Bombs is I wear the pink sprinkles on 76, but Sugar Bombs is my second favorite. It's what a lot of my Fallout 4 characters wear, and it's what Ron wore in 76.
Oh, cool. Great. Enjoy.
It's also 2 XP weekend, double XP weekend for people playing 76. There are so many events happening this weekend. Events, Fallout style events. So not really events, but we get double XP. We get Gold Rush for extra gold. Minerva's got a big sale going on. Double mutations, because who doesn't love that?
Oh boy, such a benefit.
And it also is marked as a high score weekend, which I'm not sure if that's a double score event or not. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff happening because it is QuakeCon weekend. And so
right.
that's why they're doing that. It's kind of a way to celebrate along with. Now, QuakeCon, I actually watched a few highlights from Thursday. There's more stuff happening Friday. That was today. And then, of course, on Saturday. But it's not really, like I mentioned before, because it's back in person again. And it's pretty much just the BYOC, the bring your own computer. It's a huge location. They've got over 3,000 people there set up with PCs and all that. And it's pretty cool. When you watch the video from it, it's a dark rooms, like an old like roller rink kind of deal. It's dark rooms. You get like all these glowing monitors and like the QuakeCon Q logos. And it's very, it's very 90s or, PC culture with all the extra RGB you get these days. Like
extreme.
It's very throwback. Yeah.
So is this like a LAN party or is it like a convention?
Giant LAN party. Yeah, that's what QuakeCon really is.
I was wondering if I saw QuakeCon and I thought like somewhere I saw it like on X Twitter thing or whatever, and I thought it was like someone would be saying something about a game this weekend.
Well, and no. It's been a mix. So QuakeCon, it evolved. It started out as very much a LAN party, then it became a full weekend convention at QuakeCon.
Yeah.
But the BYOC, the giant LAN party, was always the biggest feature of it. Well, after 3 years of only being virtual, and for the comeback, they're not doing as many speaking things to attend at the convention as they normally would. But they are doing the full BYOC, and they are having a lot of events around it. So things like miniature painting workshops, something Dungeons and Conventions. They're running some D&D stuff. So there are other events that aren't just LAN stuff. A bunch of games, specific to Quake and other game matches and such. They do have a section where people can stop and talk. So they did a small keynote. One thing I wanted to mention, Pete Hines was there. So Pete Hines was the second person to come up. And they're also, because of the co-sponsorship with Starfield, with AMD, they're giving away to people watching on Twitch, they're giving away AMD cards and free copies of Starfield, but they're doing a lot of giveaways there on site too. So people are going to win some of the latest AMD cards and copies of Starfield and such. So, there may be information coming out of some of these speeches. That's why I'm going to check what happened today. But it's not quite as much as there has been other years where they, especially for the virtual event, the last 2 years, they had a big thing Friday with kind of a keynote where you got a lot of info. But I'll let you know if anything comes up. Speaking of Uncle Pete, I wanted to share this excellent exchange that happened yesterday, Thursday afternoon on Twitter. Fun little exchange. So, while talking about QuakeCon and Starfield, like people often do, Fallout 4 next gen update when, all that stuff, like asking about unrelated things. People love to jump on the threads and even troll. So this one, a guy asked, hey, DC Deacon, any news on Fallout 4 next gen update? It's been awfully quiet for quite some time now with nothing shared with the community. Pete Hines, Uncle Pete, responded to this one. He said, don't know if you heard, but we're shipping a new game in 3 weeks. Bit of a priority. When we have an update, we'll share it.
As soon as we're done with the roundtable, they're going to release that Fallout 4 update, guys.
Oh my gosh, I was so happy. Like, yeah, just don't know if you heard. And then, of course, the guy responds, my bad, slipped my mind. Thanks for the response, though. Like, he's like kind of like backing down. Like, yep, you're right, Pete. Absolutely right. Maybe I was out of line here.
Sorry.
I mean, hilarious.
Yeah.
So yeah, no appearance by Peter Hines at the QuakeCon to give a Fallout.
So that just means that
reveal.
everybody's stuck on playtesting duty, instead of actually doing their regular jobs because they've got so many people. I mean, it's is that the same excuse they're going to use for the lame stuff happening in 76?
Yeah, so what you're saying is they're a large company and everyone's involved. I mean, yeah, obviously, if they're working on it, there are some people probably working on it if it's in-house.
They get
we're
back to work
assuming it's
instead
in-house.
of playing.
And you can always ask, but many people are theorizing that we'll know more around the time when we know more about the Fallout show that they're making.
Yeah, that they're likely going to be connected. Although you would assume the game would
Yeah.
come out first so they can make sure everything's ironed out. But yeah, it makes sense that people like this show called Fallout. Let's go check out the game. Oh, gee, look at this. There's a remaster. Well, let's download this. It'll look great.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm with you, Ray. I get you now. You're like the guys working on it. They're just all playtesting. It's very important playtesting.
Yeah. If you're going to get all snarky about it, isn't it somebody's job? You just don't want to talk about anything else.
Exactly. Speaking of not talking about anything else, there's going to be a big Q&A on the Bethesda Discord on the 16th. So what is that? That's next. Is it Tuesday, I think? Pulling up a calendar. No, it's a Wednesday. Okay, next Wednesday, there's going to be a Q&A at 1 p.m. in the Discord. And Will Shen and Emil Pagliarulo will be doing a Q&A. Now, these are pre-selected questions mostly. They might take some from chat listening, but there's a section on the Discord where you can actually submit questions ahead as well. As you know, Will Shen is the lead writer, and Emil Pagliarulo is, the head designer, quest designer, and all that for Starfield, and has been for a long time. Will Shen obviously did Far Harbor too, and a lot of this. So that's going to be a big thing. We may get some great information from that Q&A, and expect tons of articles written from people off of what they say there, to delve deeper into it. But if you want to actually check it out, if you aren't in the Bethesda Discord, it's just I'll drop a link into our Discord. And of course, a lot of people are obviously already in it. And that will be 1 p.m. on Wednesday, the 16th Eastern Time. And finally, I didn't copy down information for this on the bit, so I'll save it for next week. But there is some good information on what's going on in the PTS right now and what we expect for the update coming out with Meat Week. So I don't have specifics now, but I'll be sure and write that down to share next week. Just remember, Meat Week will be coming up, and that's probably when the next update will drop, is in time for that.
All right. Stay on your meat toes for Meat Week, everybody. Okay, looks good. Sounds like a good news wrap up. Thanks everyone for hopping in our quests for this week. Had a good time getting over to Nuka World. And it looks like that should be a wrap on the shows. Anybody have anything else they'd like to get into this evening?
I want Ray to tell us about Meat Week happening on his screen right now behind him. I've been, curious all night.
Ray's celebrating Meat Week a little bit early, it looks like. What do you have going on there, Ray?
So I've got some lovely al pastor. So it's Mexican barbecued pork, slathered in deep red chili sauce that makes the best tacos on the planet.
Looks so good.
And you can't. So normally it's done on a spit, and at the top of the spit you put half a pineapple, because normally you would just shave off a little pineapple, shave off a little pork, make your tacos. So on the other side of the grill is some nice slices of pineapple that I've got grilling, and all that gets chopped up and thrown in a tortilla with onion, cilantro, and a little bit of lime. And
how about the grill marks on that pineapple? I've just
Sounds
been looking
good
at
to
it.
me.
So for y'all, Ray, this is his background tonight. This photo we're talking about has been his background all night. Just this amazing al pastor pork and this grilled pineapple, which I wasn't sure it was pineapple or like yellow chicken. But yeah, looks amazing.
I thought it was tortillas at first.
yeah, they look kind of like tortillas too, because
Yep.
they're thin slices. But yeah, so those were halfway done. So they have the crosshatches in one direction, and then they'll get flipped over with about an 80 degree. I like a little bit of an angle to my grill marks, not straight crosshatch.
I think I've noticed that when you shared things before. That's awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, quite delicious. All
Yum.
over a nice natural charcoal fire.
Yeah, I noticed it wasn't your cool flat top grill thing.
Yeah,
that
no,
you
this
had
was on the grill.
a little smoky. Yeah, very nice. Looks yummy, Ray. He's just prepping for Meat Week, everybody.
Yep.
Send a taco to Graham.
Yeah. So the other picture I had wasn't quite as clear. But let's see. That one is. I deleted that one. It was a big hunk of ribeye. So
All
I
the
thought
grilling.
when we were talking through Clint's mod details, I thought I would switch up to
Whoa.
my major my major mod flaw where I had almost all of my textures were screwed up.
I think
It's
that's
like a Barbie
I
movie
was going to
tribute.
say that's the
Yeah.
Barbie mod right there.
Yeah, it's all pink and purple.
Beautiful. I like that.
And then for the healthier crowd, there's the Poke Bowl.
Which you put in Fallout
Pokeball.
food the other day, right? Yum.
Yeah.
Oh, pokey.
Good stuff. All right. Anything else you guys like to get into tonight?
That'll do.
Then on that note,
Yep.
Steve, would you like to please tell us where you can find you, sir?
You can find me on the Discord or in the Facebook channel.
Perfect. If you'd like to join our Discord, hit us up at thefalloutfeed@gmail.com and I'll send you that join link. We can't just post it somewhere because Discord join links change every 7 days or something. Like they only last for so long before they expire for some reason. I don't know why they do that, but hit us up if you would like to join our Discord and we'll send you one of those join links. Steve, thanks so much for hopping on, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Always a great time to have you. And thanks again so much. Steve is, if we didn't mention at the top of the show, he's the guy who makes our character generators through his wonderful magic of database spreadsheets. So thanks again, Steve, for all your hard work with helping the project, the Roundtable. We really couldn't do it without you. So thanks again. You can find her over there on Twitter's at sleepisfortea. Also, please check out her other podcast, Dames Who Game. Jess, thanks so much for hopping on tonight.
Find me between the My Pillow ads and the Small Booby Bra ads and whatever else trying to sell you on Twitter these days.
Good Lord.
I'm somewhere sandwiched in there. Oh, there's political ads now too. Yeah.
It's ridiculous, the amount of... it's horrible how they're trying to... whatever. Right, Ray. Please check out Ray's other shows. He's on a Skyrim Addict podcast. And also The Butcher, Baker, and Candlemaker in Space, found at BBC ISSS, and his personal site at RayLB. Ray, thanks so much for hopping on.
Good times.
I can be found at Indie Android, and the show is at The Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of The Fallout Feed, and we will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
Arf, You're going to do what I tell you to.
Tried to squirt him right away.
Bam, 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 bam. He's gone.
Activate the symbol monkey. I
She
landed
went
right on the
through it.
poop deck.
Big intelligence.
I'll kill you if it's, gives me some kind of a buff.